And at number 10, I have Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin?
Yeah, I have him at number 10.
He had what, like 1,096 yards last year?
He barely cracked it.
You don't think he's top 10?
He's not even close.
No, he's not in my top 10.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. This is now episode 498. 2 more episodes until episode 500. And on today's episode, it's going to be mostly NFL. It's going to be a football-centric episode. We're going to start our power ranking series, which will be a span of 4 episodes, 8 teams per episode. This episode will be the worst teams in the NFL. We have a top 10 wide receivers list and a top 5 wide receiver duos list. And then we're going to react to some NBA news. It hasn't been much, but it will be some. And that's going to be the crux of the episode, fellas. How are we doing?
Why'd you change it up?
Change
you always
what
say, the Pick a Side podcast.
Yeah, hold up. You
Today
didn't
were just like,
you didn't do any of our intros. They don't know who we are.
Yeah, you just kind of speeded that shit.
Sorry, I forgot.
That's funny as hell. Happy to be here. I'm River. That's Joel. That's Dels. That's John. Excited. Football season is literally almost here. And
Thank God.
NBA season, off season is pretty much done.
Thank God too.
Excited. Yeah, I know you're preaching today because
it's gonna be. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna have basketball to look forward to once like October comes.
Who are you gonna
around,
watch?
You know?
Have you figured that out?
NBA?
Celtics, yeah,
No, dude, I'm probably not gonna watch this year. I'm not gonna watch. Just gonna skip out this year and just send to 2026.
To just skip out is hilarious.
Yeah.
Get shit over.
I'm happy though, man. This is the first all football episode we've had in some time. It's that time of the year. And once we get past these top 8, then I feel like, or bottom 8, I guess, we could really get into, I think, a lot more discrepancies because we all sent our bottom 8 a lot of similarities. We had a lot of the same teams. But I'll be honest, we don't have to get into it right away. There was really just like one team that I was like, there is no way this team will be good this year. Almost every other team, 31 teams, I'm like, you could talk me into them winning 7 games. There's only one team I could not see it.
It was the Browns.
It wasn't the Browns.
Oh.
It wasn't the Browns.
It was not the Browns. That's not the team I had either. I could actually talk myself into the Browns a little bit.
Yeah, just because their defense.
Yes.
7.
Just because their defense. Joe Flacco starts.
7.
It'd be,
7.
They won
7.
11 games with terrible quarterback play in 2022.
They do win with bad quarterback play.
They do. 7 is a lot nowadays.
Joe Flacco was hugging that thing, though, in that level.
He was.
Yeah.
I give him credit.
They have him.
They do
They have him. They should start
It's
him.
been 3 years.
They probably will.
They start him. Jerry Jeudy. Oh, yeah. Watch
Really
out.
hasn't been 2 years.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah. It hasn't been that long since Joe Flacco was slinging it.
Last year it was bad, though. It was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I feel like you talk yourself into a lot of teams. The Browns #1 in pressure rate last season. They have an elite pass rush. John, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. NFL training camp's upon us. It's always exciting to talk about wide receivers. My good friend Riv here look great today. And
Thanks,
other
bro.
than that, I feel like this is going to be a great episode. All
I love the
football,
shirt,
a little bit
man.
of basketball. Yeah,
Love the
I'm
shirt.
repping the George Pickens and Justin Fields shirt.
The Steeler to...
neither of them may be a
Jet
Steeler today,
connection.
but
Yeah. Cowboy to
the,
Jet
the
connection.
shirt is still going to be
In the
actively
rotation?
In the rotation.
Okay.
So you bought that shirt hoping that he would be your franchise quarterback?
No.
You love Justin Fields.
I really enjoyed his time with the team.
Me too, bro.
Should start a little bit longer, but I kind of knew it was going to be a rental, barring a huge
Pickens, though, you did not expect.
I did expect it, but I didn't think it'd be this soon. I really expected
It was heartbreaking?
him to-
I haven't passed his first contract.
yeah, not even past his first contract. I'm expecting to have a monster year at the Cowboys.
Did it
and
hurt?
I think it's
You
going
saw
to rub
the
some.
highlight he had
hurt?
today?
No.
There was a highlight of him. Dak threw him a 70-yard bomb in training camp.
Yeah, he's going to have his best year
Yeah.
this season.
I
He
won't be
finally has a
surprised.
good quarterback.
He's a great
He
quarterback.
finally does.
And
It's
he's the number
unfortunate.
2.
The year that
Yeah.
Rodgers comes in, Pickens
Yeah.
is out, you know.
Mhm.
But
Oh, yes, Dak, bro.
he has 3 pieces of merch around Pickens and Fields. That's the shirt. You have a Fields jersey, and you have a Pickens jersey.
I don't got a Fields jersey. I got the shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Just picking jersey.
I knew I wasn't getting a Fields jersey. Kind of knew it was
Yeah.
a 50-50 chance he was.
You
out
got
back
a
then.
Pickens locked in jersey.
Yeah, I got that shit a while ago.
Favorite Steeler of
Shout
all
out
time?
Santos.
One of the top 5 Steelers of all time
Definitely
for you?
not. One of my favorite receivers. of
Top
all time.
10?
Top
No,
5
no.
Steelers, crazy.
Top 10
It's probably not
Steelers
even
is
top
gonna-
5 receiver.
Maybe top 5 receiver. Gonna
At
have
5.
AB, Mike.
Hines.
Mike Wallace?
Martavis Bryant.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Martavis is top.
Emmanuel
What about
Sanders.
Mike Wallace?
Mike
said
Wallace.
Mike
Emmanuel
Wallace, yeah.
Sanders?
Santonio Holmes.
Santonio, I wasn't quite old enough. He went to the Jets, whereas has really gotten football.
Hines Ward is number 2.
Hines
Hines
Ward's going to be in that
definitely
top 5, and the last spot would go to maybe Juju. Number 5.
Juju.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Juju.
Forgot about Juju for a
Get in
second.
Antoine Randall.
You said AB,
Shout
right?
out to Antoine.
You said AB.
I did. Yeah, he was number
Okay.
1 for me. Yeah,
Shout out to
he's my
Juju.
favorite.
Juju had like a
So
year.
real
Juju,
quickly.
Juju had that 1 year, bro. He was 22 years old.
1400.
He did.
1400.
1400.
And the AB said you
I
can't
thought
do
he was
shit
trying to be a
without me.
superstar.
He was right.
He
could
ended
not.
up
I
being
drafted him in
right.
the
So,
first
real
round of my
quickly-
dynasty draft.
Really?
John, real quickly, top 5 Steelers all time as a Steelers fan. Who are your
All
top-
time?
Yeah, all time.
Mean Joe Green. Gonna go. Big Ben's gonna.
What about ones you just watched?
No,
What
no, no.
about
I want all time. I want
all-time?
all time
Okay.
list.
His
Mean
top
Joe-
5
alright.
favorite?
Mean Joe
So Mean Joe Green.
Green?
I'm gonna have to put Mel Blunt. Roy Polamalu.
Your favorite, buddy.
I
Yeah.
thought you
With
were
all due
asking for,
respect,
like, the
No,
best.
like your
No,
favorite.
no,
favorite.
your
Yeah.
favorite.
Can
Your
I
top
give you-
5.
Can I give you the top 5 Steelers ever and then my favorite?
Sure.
We
Okay,
don't
well,
care,
the top
but
5
sure.
Steelers of all
I
time.
don't really care
Mean
about
Joe
this.
Green.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Mel Blunt,
Yeah.
Mike Webster,
Cool.
All timers.
Troy Polamalu, and that 5th spot's tough because Terry Bradshaw's got an MVP and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. So him versus Ben, I would say Ben's better. That 5th spot, Riff, it could also go to somebody like Dermontti Dawson. It could go to Rod Woodson. I think
Legend.
Rod
all-timer.
Rod Woodson, AB, or Ben get the 5th spot. But
I think Rod
I
Woodson,
might
he's
throw
all
a curve.
timer.
I'm not gonna throw. I have to do the right thing, and that's taking Franco Harris to
There
the
you go.
top 5. My
Franco
5
Harris.
favorite Steelers now.
There we go. That's what we've been waiting for here.
That
Yeah.
was what we asked.
Troy Polamalu, that's my
Uh-huh.
favorite.
Easy.
That's my favorite
Easy.
athlete of all time with Nikola
like that.
Jokic. Along with him, Big Ben, because I grew up watching him
Yes.
my entire life.
Very easy.
Antonio Brown's going to be the 3rd,
Mhm.
and then the last 2 are going to have to go to. You're not going to expect this.
Has to be TJ Watt, right?
You're not going to expect this. Cam Hayward's going to be in there,
Okay.
Oh, I can't believe. Go ahead, sorry.
and the last player I'll go with TJ Watt. But my honorable mentions are going to be William Gay, Ryan Shazier, and Martavis.
How is Le'Veon Bell not even an honorable mention?
Le'Veon's camp has taken a massive hit. Bells.
No, he has, but I'm just saying, watching him as a Steeler was
when
special.
he was a Steeler, he was one of my favorites.
Holy
to watch.
So,
shit.
John, who's your 5?
But his
just favorite?
camp could not be in a word.
No,
Who's your
I-
5 favorite players in the NFL right now? Like outside of Steelers.
Non-Steelers
Yeah,
division?
non-Steelers. I'm just
Well,
curious.
George Pickens is going to be a quick one.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
No. I'll say Jordan Love,
Uh-huh.
and then after that,
I love.
someone who I've been a Jordan Love
Okay,
fan
word.
since the very beginning.
I like that.
After that, it's a fantastic question.
This guy
Rick.
knows ball.
He does.
Thanks.
He's a baller.
I'm gonna maybe go with another Packer here.
There we go.
I'm gonna
Octavian
go with
Woods.
Josh Jacobs.
Oh,
Go with
Josh Jacobs.
All right.
And after that, we're gonna go to wide receiver. I'm gonna put in.
Put in what?
I don't have like a favorite receiver outside Pickens now that I think about it.
Got to get
No.
one, bro.
Gotta get one. Yes, I had to say Pickens. Pickens is gonna be the main one for me. And honestly, after that, I just got
Steelers.
so
too.
many players that I don't even keep track.
I'm
Okay.
actually curious
Yeah.
at all yours. Like, which
Yeah.
which y'all favorite 5 Jets?
My 5
personal?
Jets?
Jets first, and then personal 5s.
Number 1,
Alright.
Darrell Revis. Number
Yeah.
2, Mark
Mhm.
Sanchez. Number 3, I really love Braylon Edwards for some
Okay,
reason.
okay.
nothing
I
wrong
love
with that.
Braylon Edwards. Current Jets is hard. I probably
Sauce is in my top
Sauce
5.
Gardner. I don't know if he makes my top 5 just yet.
I think Sauce. Is.
I low key really love Jamal Adams. I loved watching
Okay.
him play.
Yeah, for
I could
sure.
watch because Sauce Gardner, especially when you watch just the broadcast version, you're not seeing what he's doing on the
Mhm.
other side of the field. With Jamal, I felt like I always saw him chase down the run and just make crazy plays like that touchdown he had against Daniel Jones where he just ripped the ball away from him. So Jamal Adams, I wish he was actually on a winning team with us because I loved watching him play. And then I'm gonna go throw it back to 2010, bro. Antonio Cromartie.
There you go.
Okay.
Good pull.
Yeah, either him or like Dustin Keller. I loved a lot. Dustin
Yeah.
Keller was cool.
Revis and Sauce are locks for me. Garrett Wilson is trending towards lock. He's gonna go down as the best jet receiver of all time. Like
Mhm.
no
How
question.
many do you have?
Best
Keyshawn
wide receiver.
Johnson.
Like all timers.
Keyshawn Johnson's our best.
Okay.
Like Garrett is well on his way to become
Okay.
to break every record.
Shout out Garrett.
So I don't know if he's a lock, but I would put him close because if I think back to the old teams, Cromartie's definitely in there. Sanchez is definitely in there. The thing is, Sanchez is the only time I've seen playoff success.
Mhm.
I feel like I got to put Sanchez in there. The guys on the offensive line like Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, they were just
Rickershaw's my
week
guy.
in and week out. That offensive line was so fucking elite. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have been shit. So maybe DeBrickashaw and Nick Mangold, man.
I'm capping.
Homegrown guys too.
Keyshawn Johnson, he is our best from a talent perspective
So he's
outside of
You
Garrett.
don't have the most yards.
In terms of yardage, he doesn't have the most yards. He's not even top 5. It's Don Maynard, 1972, Wesley Welker, 1977 to 89,
What's
Wayne
the highest?
Corbett. It was 11,732 is Don Maynard.
What,
And
Garrett's at 3?
Lavernius Coles too. No, Garrett Wilson is actually just behind Keyshawn Johnson. Think of
3,000, I think you're saying.
yes. Think of
Yes,
Garrett
yes.
Wilson
Mhm.
like as Keyshawn Johnson had like Garrett Wilson gets traded a year from now to another team.
Okay.
Keyshawn Johnson had 4,108 yards in 62 games. Garrett has 3,249 in 51 games.
Mhm.
So Keyshawn Johnson essentially was producing at the same rate that Garrett Wilson is,
Mhm.
but then he just got traded. But he was drafted by us.
Hey,
He
I'm
was our
happy-
first overall pick.
I'm happy they gave her those extensions, man. Thank
Yeah.
God they got it done. Didn't BS sign them a year early. That's what
Keep them
good
around.
GMs and good front offices do. Not like what these damn Cowboys are doing.
Your boy Wayne Corbett's from Garfield, went to high school.
He
there.
is,
Fun
he is.
fact.
Wayne Corbett.
I forgot a few names for mine that I had to shout James Conner. And then I have to say Alex Smith and Geno Smith. Those are two of my.
Mhm.
I met both of them, which is kind of cool, and like two of the most down to earth people. In their
Bart Scott
players.
was awesome to watch on the
Yeah.
Jets. He was short lived. He was only there for
Yeah.
really the Rex years.
David Harris.
David Harris was a beast.
Sean Ellis. I couldn't
Going
even
back,
lie,
Jonathan
bro.
Vilma.
The
was
brick.
fucking
Actually, bro,
awesome.
how did I not mention Nick
Brickashaw's the
Mangold?
man.
He was in my top 5.
He's-
That's
he's-
real.
he's-
That's
he's
real.
top
Nick
5.
Mangold,
I'd
the
him and
Brickashaw
DeBrickashaw.
Ferguson.
Hey,
No
yeah.
facts.
Danica.
They're real. So
Yeah,
okay,
Brandon Moore.
who are your top 5 Eagles ever? That your favorite? Deshaun Jackson has to be there, right?
Sean 1,
Shady.
Shady 2, Smitty 3, Quinyon Mitchell 4, and Jeremy
Respect.
Macklin 5.
Jeremy Macklin.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm a
That's
big,
an easy
big
5.
offense guy.
That's
You're
an
not
easy 5.
quarterbacks like no Hurts, no Wentz, no McNabb.
Not my McNabb. I didn't really watch.
Yeah.
Vic would be my favorite quarterback out of all the ones we've watched.
He was so awesome.
And then Nick Foles. Nick Foles would be my number 2. Just
Yeah.
'cause-
Hey, he held it
27,
down.
like,
he held it down.
Yeah, he was different.
Did you mention Brian Dawkins?
Nah. I didn't.
That's
see
not your
much.
era.
Yeah, I didn't see much of Brian. Like my era is Deshaun, Shady.
2010s.
Yeah, 2010s after that. So all those guys before. Like I got the late Vic where he was he throwing the bombs. You know. Shit
Listen,
like that.
Eagles Vic was still so electric,
nice, so
bro.
nice. I was there for the Kevin Kolb and Chip
Yeah.
Kelly let the team start doing bullshit with the
Brent
team.
Selleck.
Tight end Zachers was the one after
Shout out
him.
to Brent Selleck.
Brent Selleck. He's the model of consistency.
He was solid.
He really is.
You know, my favorite pass tight end, Jordan Reed. Before there was Travis Kelce,
Jordan
there was
Reed, he could
was
just
it.
never stay
Mm.
healthy.
in Washington.
He was nice.
Yeah, he was gonna be on.
He had
his way.
concussion problems.
My favorite was Jimmy
Yeah.
Graham from the Saints.
He was a demon.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham.
He
was my favorite
popularized
tight end.
the dunking on the
Yeah.
goalpost.
Yeah, we're talking about tight end. Shout out Heath Miller, man. That's one of the Steelers.
Dustin
like,
Keller
11
came in my
players.
mind, but he wouldn't be top 5 Jet.
Yeah.
But he was a reliable tight end.
He was. You
Not
know
gonna lie,
who-
he would have been the best tight end we've had in the last like 15 years.
Yeah.
Is your top
sure.
5 favorite players all quarterbacks?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like just in the league in general.
Oh,
Non-Jets.
mostly
all
quarterbacks. Mostly quarterbacks, yeah. Because we don't really put. I'm not really pushing an agenda for. Like I love Jettas, but I don't really
Nah,
push
'cause
it for number
I
one.
know you like Hurts.
Hurts,
You love
Lamar.
Lamar. You loved AR. I don't know if you still love him now, but
We're rooting.
you loved AR to
We're
death.
rooting.
So you know,
Drake May until they get good.
Drake May facts.
He's
You
in
do love
there.
mainly quarterbacks.
I would
K1.
say 3 of my top 5 quarterbacks are most definitely quarterbacks. Three of the top 5 players, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I know yours
Mahomes,
three.
Burrow, Love. That's it.
That's probably your 1 to 3.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is. And then 4 and 5, I don't know, bro.
I only got 2 quarterbacks. 2 quarterbacks, 3 receivers.
Mm-hmm. Purdy.
Purdy would be like top
Stroud.
10. Stroud is in my 5.
Yeah.
Like Stroud, Josh in my 5.
Josh.
4 or 5 could be whoever. I feel like there's too many players for me to just be like, yeah, that dude and that dude I love watching. It could be anybody.
Mhm.
Like, you
I
know,
really
'cause
just have top 3 favorite players in the NFL.
my 5 is Smitty, so there's a big drop off from like Smitty, my 5th, and then like my next, like everybody else. Like I'm Stan fans. Like those are my, like I do a thing for them. But like the guys under is just like I'm a fan.
Well, now coming out is gonna be Lagway. We're locked in.
I'll put you on.
Ah,
Like
come
from
on.
like Jeremiah Smith is cracking the top 5 as soon as he gets.
Yeah,
As soon as he gets to the NFL, it's like he's like number 5.
Hey, what's up, guys? We want to talk to you about the sponsor of today's episode, and that is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is proudly sponsored the Pick a Side podcast. And Riv, tell the people how they can use PrizePicks. What are you doing there?
All you got to do is go more or less on your projected pick anytime you want to go on that.
Use code PAS. Play $5. Get 50.
Whether you guys want to play PrizePicks with the WNBA, the MLB right now is going on. Football season is not that
Around the
far
corner.
from us.
We're getting there.
And I feel like every single time when I look on Twitter, they're like, we are 9 Sundays away from football. It makes me realize just how close we are to the NFL season. And PrizePicks has a lot of projected season totals for quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. So if that's something that you're interested in, go to PrizePicks and use code PAS. I'm very excited for this episode. We're going to get into our power rankings
I like this
first.
all black you got going. I rarely see you in all black.
Thank you, bro. I probably should wear it often. It makes you slimmer on camera.
You're a white tee guy for sure.
Does it really? Yeah, where are you looking this shit up?
No,
like,
black slims you down.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It does.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know, I usually see you in colors. You're usually like a color guy.
I do. It's just a lot of my nice clothes don't fit me no more, bro.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to get Riff to laugh. He wants to cackle so bad. I'm trying to get him to laugh.
You trying to get me to laugh?
No, but
you are a white tee guy. You almost are
White
never
and
black
blue,
tee.
like
Yeah.
you know. He
y'all
likes to
gonna
put a
see,
little
bro.
color.
Once I lose weight and I start getting
I
my
believe
fits
in you.
off, y'all gonna see the fits, bro. It's just right now I gotta keep it real cool, calm, and collected. Nothing too crazy. I can't experiment with nothing because it might look weird. You know what I'm saying?
Might look weird.
I can't do that.
So
I
I'm
can't do
getting
that.
a little thick too. I get you.
Really, I can't notice.
I'm 193 now.
Is that the heaviest you've been?
Shit. I used to be like 2 years ago. I was like 160.
You could put on at least another 15 pounds, probably, bro.
Nah, I don't think it looked right for me. Like I think I'm good in the 180, 190s.
You're still a pretty slim guy, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're not like.
Bro,
I
it's
don't
called
know.
petite.
I
knows he's
I
petite.
love being petite. Like I love it.
I can't imagine you as like a big dude.
Me either.
Nah.
I think it also fits like my persona.
Yeah.
Like plus if I get too big, I can't do certain things.
Like what?
Yeah, what's a good example of that?
You know, like
Different movements?
yeah, like I can't
Okay.
do certain movements with
That you
other
wanna
people.
do, yeah.
That I'm already
shit.
doing now.
You'd be surprised how flexible a big person could be.
It's not more like flexible. I'm a very looks wise guy. Like I'm already petite, so like it
Mhm.
doesn't look too crazy when I do it. But like if I get a little too big, it looks kind of like it's like Dell. She's 6'6".
I'm not flexible.
He can't do
Nah,
certain shit.
I'm
Like
not
he's just gonna
flexible.
look crazy. Like I feel like that's how
How do you feel about that topic, John?
I'm not really sure what Riz putting down on this one.
Are you fine with
Well-
being petite, or you want to grow? You want to get some muscle? You want to be bigger?
No,
I wouldn't
John's-
say I'm petite.
You put on muscle at least in the last couple of years for sure.
at least
for
yeah,
sure.
You
Yeah.
put on some
Yeah.
meat.
You could definitely see it in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that I can, one of my goals is to hit like 180.
What are you at right now?
So I'm at like, I lost some weight when I ran a 5K. So I was running like 3 or 4 days a week. So I probably dropped to like 160.
Mhm.
But like usually I'm like 165. And yeah, I would say
What are you laughing at?
gaining about 10, 15 pounds for me of, maybe half muscle. I think
Okay.
that's the range where it's
It's
above
very,
my,
like-
fitness wise.
Eyes are deceiving, right? Because he's 160, I'm 190, but we don't look 30 pounds
No,
off.
not at all.
So it's like you look good, bro. I'm not saying you don't. Like we don't look 30. Like he got a little muscle. I'm petite. Like you ain't calling John petite. Now John a little muscular.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
But
for
when
sure.
I'm 30 pounds heavier.
Well, he's a bit more built out than you. He's like, you know what I mean? He's got a little
Yeah.
something on his arms
Weight's
there.
distributed differently because
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
a
like
fact.
KD and Giannis, it's a
True.
good example of
Yeah.
like two players that their
That's like
weights
me
are
and you.
reported similarly. But
That's literally me and you.
one could argue.
I'm
but,
KD
you
and
know,
Giannis. Like I'm
I'd be
skinny.
benching more than KD though. So I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, in this scenario,
Comparing
you'd
to
be
KD.
Giannis and he'd be KD because KD is slimmer than Giannis.
I don't know.
Ooh, but I'm saying the look wise.
Mm.
I think Giannis weighs more than KD.
Ah, shit.
It's
It
just
would've
not that
worked.
far off.
Damn, it would have worked. It really would have worked. Because KD's a skinny petite when I'm
Mhm.
skinny. Giannis strong. John strong, built out. Unfortunately, it's not gonna work here.
Interesting conversation, fellas.
Yeah.
Now
here we go.
let's get into the power
Let's
rankings. We all created different lists, and if you guys want to see those lists individually, it will be posted on our Instagram as a graphic tomorrow. We'll also at the very end of going through every team, we'll give our own list, but this is basically a cumulative ranking. We all had the same teams outside of 2 teams. One team that was left out, and I think that's where we should start. Number 1, these are the worst teams in the NFL. We're going 32 to 25, 24 to
So we're
17
making a group list.
in the hunt
Yeah.
teams,
What do you think we were doing in the chat?
16 to 9 playoff teams, and then the top 8 are the Super Bowl contenders. So we're starting off with the worst teams in the NFL. This will be a 4-part podcast series.
Drum
The
roll, please.
Jaguars were left off this list. Only one of us had them on their list. That was
Admit.
Mr. John Tortorelli.
Set
He had the
tone.
Jaguars on his list. And the 2 teams that we had to pick between who was going to be the 25th team on our list was between the Patriots and the Dolphins, because we each, 2 of us had the Dolphins and 2 of us had the Patriots. We decided to bump up the Dolphins after a very gruesome battle of rock, paper, scissors, and shoot. So
It's true.
Number 25 will be the Patriots, but we're not there yet. We're going to go 32-1. Or 32-26. Or 32-25. Sorry. 32-25. So 32, the worst team in the NFL.
Drum roll, please.
We are projecting to be the New Orleans Saints.
This was the team I was talking about that you can't really talk me into this team winning more than 6 or 7 games. It's most of these teams, there's a common thread, right? Quarterback position. Either your quarterback you have a question about, or your quarterback is bad, or you don't know who your quarterback is. This quarterback room with Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, of course, Derek Carr retired, Taysom Hill. It's putrid. It's awful. It's terrible. And you have, a wide receiver room that's going to be having 2 guys coming back from injury. Chris Olave with his concussions, Rashid Shaheed season-end injury, an old Alvin Kamara, Kellen Moore, first-time head coach. It's a lot for this team to overcome.
I felt like for the Saints last year, we saw when Derek Carr played 5-5 in the games they missed 0-7. New Orleans had a foundation with their run game and specifically their offensive line, and then Eric McCoy missed the second half of the season. This year, I find myself kind of intrigued by the offense to get Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave back healthy, which is nice. I'm also expecting Tyler Shook to win the starting job. I guess my skepticism in New Orleans comes down to their thin, aging defense, which over the years has become one of the most disappointing, I guess you could say. But I think the bright side for New Orleans is that they're finally doing what we've all waited to see, and that's them rebuilding, clearing their cap, and getting younger on the offensive side. And the nice thing about Shook is that you have Kellen Moore coming in, but you also invested a ton in the offensive line. You have Filaga from last year, you have Kelvin Banks this year, you got Eric McCoy coming back. So I find myself kind of interested to see how the offense looks, but the defensive side of the ball and really also kind of the youth in this offense figuring things out is why I got them at 32.
Yeah, I'm not. This team is terrible. It's never a good thing to go into a new situation with a new coach and you don't know who your quarterback is because now you don't even know what's going on the offense. And, of course, Derek Carr retiring, like John mentioned, kind of put this team in a bit of a tough situation because you mentioned it. Tyler Show, he's like a 26, 27-year-old rookie. Spencer Rattler is not good. Taysom Hill is not even a quarterback. So now you have 3 guys who don't really give you. They're not even the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. Like they're worse than other teams' backups. And then you mentioned new coach, aging defense, wide receiver room is okay, but like Dell's mentioned, it's always banged up or injured, especially Chris Olave, who unfortunately deals with a ton of concussions. Talent is there. Alvin Kamara is also a guy who is aging, who's not the most explosive runner, does a lot of his work in the receiving department. And once again, they do not have a quarterback. So that is also an issue. Offensive line is young. I think that's probably the few lone bright spots is young. They have invested in it. But in terms of just that defense, it's probably not going to hold up for too long because I don't think this offense is going to be able to put up points. So this is, with all due respect, probably the worst team in the league.
I'd be surprised if they weren't the worst team in the NFL. And I think you mentioned it perfectly, John. This is the best case scenario for them. I think Derek Carr retiring abruptly and them saving $30 million is best for their long-term outlook and their future because they were going to be bad this year again. Yeah. That defense, which was once a strong point of the team, has become one of the worst units in the NFL. They're an aging defense. They don't get much pressure on the defensive line. Their secondary has been totally revitalized with Marshawn Lattimore getting traded, Paulson Adebo leaving in free agency. I think the success for the Saints this year is legitimately bottoming them out and trying to be the worst they possibly can be because this upcoming draft class, I don't know if there's going to be a star quarterback unless Arch Manning decides to enter the draft. Even then, I'm not too keen on the eligibility and whether or not he will be able to.
I don't think he'll be able to.
I think it's the year after. But
next year, yeah.
The Saints...
No, because he'll be a redshirt freshman. He needs 1 more year.
He would be a sophomore.
No.
Because he's been in college for 2 years.
Yeah, so he redshirted his first year.
So he can enter the draft.
Last year was redshirt freshman, this year sophomore.
Even if you're redshirt, if you played 3 years in college, you're draft eligible.
Oh, wow.
Johnny Manziel.
Let me fact check that. I could have sworn
potentially Arch Manning to the Saints, following the footsteps of his grandfather. That would be a cool story. But I think that's what this year is about for the Saints. It's an aging defense. The secondary is very young.
Yep.
And you're just hoping that you have some bright spots from Kelvin Banks Jr. to Lise Fuaga, your young players. You're hoping that Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave can stay healthy. And then on defense, Brian Brisset, who really hasn't been that good. You're hoping he takes a step forward, and Kool-Aid McKinstry also a player that they drafted last year that they have high hopes for.
Yeah, That's one of the best names in football. They have been linked to Les Meyer from LSU because dad is their offensive coordinator, which is kind of a cool subplot to follow as the draft and college season goes on. But I feel like we kind of look at the Saints in a new way compared to the last couple of years. And I think that's the reassuring part about them being ranked 32. It's a good thing for many teams. And them getting a top pick is going to allow them to kind of revitalize the roster.
About time. They still got some years, though, to get that cap really right. They've put that off for so long that even they're going to be terrible in the next couple of years. And we're still going to look at their books and be like, still money that they've been paying back for the last 5 years at this point.
And another thing, they're not even going to know how good their coaching staff is because they won't really have a team that'll give them any window to show that they're good. Like, this is a team with no quarterback, and that's the most. I feel like that's the most important part for a rookie coach.
Taking him early in the second round.
Yeah.
He's a weird player because he's very old. He's 26 years old, but he's played the second fewest snaps of any quarterback in this upcoming draft. Only less than 1,000 snaps in college.
Because he has a lot of tools, good physical traits. It just comes down to injuries, kind of, and also because of the amount of injuries he's taken. By the time he got to Louisville, it seemed like he started to tense up, try to protect himself from taking hits. In the event, he got hurt again. So that's another thing to monitor with a lot of quarterbacks. Kind of are able to take those and withstand those hits without being afraid of getting hurt. Yeah, that's so important for the position.
It's just such a tough position to be in because I don't know, even though he is 26 years old, I don't think any team, or at least 31 other GMs, was like, this is probably not someone we want out there starting for us week one, So it's hard, too, for Kellen Moore because it felt like this whole time we were wondering who's going to take the Saints job, right? Going back to the offseason because it just felt like such a lame duck position where, like, you're going into a spot where you have a clean slate, but you don't really have a ton of answers. You don't have a lot of long-term solutions, especially at quarterback. So, like, to Riv's point, it's going to be hard for Kellen Moore to even prove himself, right? Like, how do you really judge this team at all, especially a head coach, when you're this deprived of talent? I think what you're hoping for is just a team that's competitive throughout, or I guess as the season starts to end. I think of the Lions, when their rebuild was starting to turn, even though the talent wasn't always there, you saw them compete, and you saw Dan Campbell really be able to, vitalize this team. So I think that's what you're looking for if you're just trying to study and grade Kellen Moore, because I think doing on wins and losses just isn't going to be fair to him.
Well said.
Now's the time to just figure out what young players are going to be able to be relied upon for the future. That's really it. That's what it is for the Saints. The next team in our cumulative power ranking, 31, the Tennessee Titans, who just drafted Cam Ward with the first overall pick. And these are one of the teams, I think this is where it starts. You can start to talk yourself into some sort of optimism. I think what I'm most optimistic about with the Titans is that they have Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is fantastic. Will Levis really held them back with turnovers he took, the sacks he took, and Cam Ward, he had a 2.9% sack rate in college, which was the best of any qualified quarterback that entered the draft. Will Levis's college sack percentage was 13%. So it's something that he struggled with even in college, and it translated to the pros. And Cam Ward's interception rate was below 2%. He has a 5.6 touchdown for every interception. So for every interception, he throws almost 6 touchdowns, 5.6. That's a lot. So Cam Ward has all the talent. It's just about whether or not it's going to be married within this scheme, because I worry about the lack of skill position players the Titans have. I like Calvin Ridley. I sort of like Shige. I like their running backs. But last year, the Titans offensive line created no holes for the running backs. They were often getting stuffed at or behind the line of scrimmage. And this year, I have some optimism for their offensive line, getting Kevin Zeitler in free agency. Peter Skoronski looked promising last year. And then J.C. Latham is moving from left tackle to right tackle, his natural position. But they signed Dan Moore, who I have not been the biggest fan of. He has not been good with the Steelers, but
he's been a guy.
Maybe Bill Callahan sees something in him that he can develop. So I think the optimistic viewpoint for the Titans is that their offensive line takes a step forward. Cam Ward has a really good rookie season, and the defense, it was all right last year. I really like Tavondre Sweat, who's going to be heading into his second year. Yeah, so their defense has some things to look forward to, but for the most part, this is one of the least talented teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I think when you have the number 1 overall pick, that's what gives you hope ultimately, right? Because even though I don't have that high of expectations for the Titans, I also remember last year before the season started, we looked at the Titans as like, this could be a sneaky team that, relies on its defense and Tony Pollard to get some wins. Of course, it didn't turn out that way. But you do see like somewhat of a foundation here, right? Like you like what their front seven looks like. You like Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley, and Tony Pollard. They're not household names, but they're two super reliable guys, right? I think Pollard's going on 3 years now with 1,000 yards. Calvin Ridley continues to get it done, even when he doesn't have great quarterback play from last year. Outside of that, though, is when it gets scary for Cam Ward because they brought in Tyler Lockett. And outside of that, there's not a lot of other reliable guys. Yeah, you're relying on rookies. Van Jefferson's name they brought in. I think Chigakonkwo is a really interesting piece at tight end. He just has never really been utilized for more than a week or two. Like sometimes you see those sparks from him, but he's never consistently utilized. And that's been through a couple different coaching staffs now. So he would be the one piece I'm looking for on this offense that if you can unlock him and he can break out, this could be a much more explosive offense because Chig has shown with his athletic ability, to be able to be a difference maker. And then defensively, I do like the front seven. I like the front four, what they're going to be able to bring. Secondary, I still have some questions about. The coaching staff too. I don't really know still what Callahan is, right? I still don't know. Is he able to develop and build a scheme around a young quarterback like Cam Ward? But if he's able to, this could be a team like we don't have a lot of expectations, but Cam Ward is talented enough to make this an interesting team and in the hunt team. Maybe not win the division, but a team that can win 7+ games.
Absolutely, a big part about getting Cam Ward is just the fact you're able to evaluate Brian Callahan to see what his offense can be. I guess my biggest negative with this Titan team is, and I don't necessarily know if it's a negative per se, but it's just the youth and the unknown of what they're having after Calvin Ridley at receiver. You have a pair of 4th round picks, Jamar DK. You have Alec Eilmaner at wide receiver, and then I like Xavier Restrepo a lot. He went undrafted. He most likely should have been if it weren't for his 40 time. And I feel like some of those guys can contribute this season, but given the fact none of them have played NFL reps and Tyler Lockett has regressed a lot in the last couple of years, it's tough to really pigeonhole someone in the event Calvin Ridley misses time. And I feel like that's where they're going to see maybe some growing pains in this passing attack, but at the same time, what I like a lot about this Titan team is just how much they've been investing into the trenches and the offensive line. We talked about the front four especially. This is a team that last year spent the most money for NC, then up getting the first overall pick. I feel like Cam Ward gives those players that they added in a chance to show themselves, and for that, it's a fun time to be a Titan fan.
I feel like this is the complete opposite of the Saints, where they have a fresh coaching staff and they have a quarterback they can kind of grow with, build with. I think it's important that it is a rebuild year. I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting them to just focus on the rookies, like John mentioned, focus on the youth in the wide receiving core. I feel like their secondary is still relatively young outside of Jerry Sneed and stuff. I think their front seven is going to be good. Their offensive line is a mixture of young with a couple vets, but for the most part, they have invested in these young guys on the offensive line. And like you mentioned, they do have Pollard and Ridley, who are kind of vets in the game at this point, especially for this team. But I think this year, for the Titans, it's really just looking at it and how good are our young players. Is Cam Ward a guy that we can continue to invest in? It was perfect for them that they can kind of go from Will Levis to a number 1 pick in Cam Ward, because they could have been in quarterback purgatory and they went right to a next option.
Yeah, I think the Titans offensive line is intriguing because I see 4 positions on the offensive line that I'm very comfortable with. Kevin Zeitler at right guard. Lloyd Cushenberry only played 8 games last year, but he was good when he played.
Yep.
Skoronski went from one of the least efficient run blocking guards to one of the most efficient. He finished top 10 this past year. And then J.C. Latham now doesn't have to transition to playing left tackle. He could play right tackle. That should make him better. So, if this offensive line improves how it should improve, especially knowing Bill Callahan and his history with offensive lines, then it gives Cam Ward a good floor. I think a success for them is just him having a solid rookie season. And that defense, Jerry Sneed was awful for them last year. Yeah, but there was some bright spots from that. Like Jarvis Brownlee, I thought was really good as a late round player. Tavondre Sweat was really good. Their front four, it's really just Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat. Arden Key has dropped off, and their linebacking corps is not that good at all. So it's still not that much of a talented team, but I think there's enough pieces there to keep the Titans in games. They were in games last year. They were up on the Jets. They ended up losing that game. They were up on the Bears. They ended up losing that game.
Not the greatest comp, but facts.
The Titans, they were up early in the season, especially.
They were interesting.
They were up in some games, and it was pretty impressive. And then, things fell off the rails for them. But the Titans have been a wide receiver graveyard. Tyler Lockett recently enters that company. Can you guys name me the 5?
Damn.
Name me the 5 washed wide receivers that joined the Titans.
Julio, Andre Johnson. That's all I got.
Julio
Jerry
Jones,
Rice,
Andre Johnson.
Moss.
Jerry Rice did not play for them.
Randy Moss.
He played for the
Randy
Seahawks and Raiders.
Randy Moss. And
So far,
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, okay, you guys are cooking. Damn.
You are.
What are you doing? Get the
Nothing,
last one.
I'm sitting here. It's looking pretty.
The last one should be easy.
Yeah, it's definitely very recent.
Oh, Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett. It's right now. It's not recent.
I thought he was already part of the list.
Oh, that's 5
Yeah.
though. Randy Moss, Julio Jones, Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyler Lockett.
Some great names, by the way. It's
They
a
have
polar bear
all
there for
played for the Titans after their peaks.
Few more.
Tyler Lockett. I
There's
see you're thinking.
really a few more.
Eric Decker went to them too,
Yeah.
right? After the Jets.
Did he?
Sure. We don't count him.
Did he? Am
No
I
offense.
making that up? I feel like
He
went to
probably
the
did.
Titans.
I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right.
Wide receiver graveyard.
There's probably more wide
There are.
receivers,
That's why I
Definitely,
thought
definitely.
Jerry for some
but
reason.
I don't know them off the top of my head.
Those are definitely the notable ones.
Yeah, maybe the comments can help us out.
He
Eric
played 1 year
Decker.
in Tennessee.
Eric
Yeah.
Decker's definitely one of them after he wasn't that good anymore.
Yeah.
So next team,
Did Brandon Marshall play for them?
I don't think so.
Okay, because he's played for 30 teams.
Yeah, nah.
no, I don't think he played for them. He did not play for them. Next team on a cumulative ranking, the Cleveland Browns. This is another team that you can maybe talk yourself into because of how elite their defense is. And if I told you an offense has Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku,
Cedric Tillman.
Cedric Tillman,
We don't
What
know who
would-
the running back's
what
going to
would
be.
you
Might
think
be
of that
Dylan-
offense?
It's going to be Dylan Sampson.
Jerome Ford, he averaged 7.4 yards
Jerome.
per carry when he wasn't contacted behind the line of scrimmage.
Ford's a solid running back.
Yeah,
He's a
that
really solid running back.
that was the second most in the NFL, only behind Derrick Henry.
That was last year? 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember the year Chubb got hurt, he was dreadful.
So when Jerome Ford is not contacted, he rips off some runs. He's
Yeah.
not bad.
This
yeah,
is
7 yards
this-
carry is pretty
This
elite.
is going to be a team that's relying on their defense to be healthy and seeing what they have in the quarterback room. You have 3 rookies, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely 2. I don't know if it's
Two,
Gabriel
Dylan Gabriel and
Shador.
Shador.
They're probably behind in the depth charts. You have Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, blanking on the 5th guy, or it might just be them 4.
It's just Pickett, Flacco, Shador,
Deshaun.
and Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, Deshaun. That's the 5th
Nice,
guy, but he's obviously going to be
nice
out for the season. Quarterback room is nuts. It's up there with the Saints, except Joe Flacco's so much better than the guys over there in the Saints. He's probably going to start. Jerry Jeudy had a breakout year last year. He had a breakout year, a real breakout year. I think it was like 1,300 yards.
He had more yards than
Stop.
Terry's ever
Stop
had?
being mean.
Damn.
But Jerry Jeudy
You
had
think
a
he's
great-
better?
Oh shit.
I didn't even think about it until you just brought it up. Like Jerry Jeudy, 1,300. There's
He had a
dudes in the
breakout.
league who have never done that. It's crazy.
Wait, Terry never done that?
No, you think he's better though?
Oh shit.
Like
Don't
the
tell me
number,
that.
the number shows that you
No.
think he's better though.
I think Terry's a better receiver.
Oh, okay.
It's just interesting is all.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting.
So maybe the
Terry
total
had, what,
receiving
triple
yards
the
doesn't really
touchdowns?
matter.
That-
He had double digit
touchdown
touchdowns.
luck.
He did.
Touchdown luck
He
comes
has
down.
luck. Well, Jerry
indeed
Jeudy has
never
double digits.
been close to 1,300.
12.
What about
I don't know
Devontae
He said
Smith?
12.
No,
No, he said
Has
12.
Devontae Smith been close to that number or no?
I could check.
He's had more than Terry, no? 20? He had like
His-
11
his-
most,
his-
year?
his season
His most is the
1100.
same as Terry's.
A
They
little-
both had 1196. So no,
1196,
he's never been
okay.
close.
You think Jerry Jeudy's better than Smitty?
Not even close.
Nah.
Ah, okay.
He's not.
Okay.
One has a right.
I'll take stats for 500 that don't matter.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
13 matters. Let's not like 13 matters.
That's a big year.
But no. All jokes aside, Browns trying to figure out what they have in the quarterback room, offensive line, running back room. We'll see. You mentioned Jerome Ford numbers. We will see. Defense is going to be what it's going to be. It's going to hold them up for a portion of the game. Unfortunately, I think the offense won't be able to stay in these games. But you got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward's coming up for another great year. Greg Newsome, Martin Emerson. You have all them boys. This team is going to be a defensive dogfight, and offensively, it's going to struggle. But 30 is fine.
That's really it for the Browns. It's how much can their defense carry them to victories? Because last year they were number 1 in pressure rate. Myles Garrett is the best edge rusher in the NFL. And then they added to the defensive line by drafting Mason Graham, who I'm very high on, who's going to make an immediate impact.
A lot of future
This
picks.
is still a very talented team, but the offensive line has dropped off. You don't have a ton of good skill position players. There's a lot of projection involved in that. And then the quarterback situation is in flux. I think Joe Flacco will be the starter day one. What does a successful season for the Browns look like?
Successful season.
Hopefully, one of the rookie quarterbacks
Oh.
breaks out. and
Yeah,
play.
Shador,
I would
Dylan
say-
Gabriel looks good.
I would say a successful season for the Browns is having 2 top 10 picks, maybe even
Oh,
2
talk,
close
Joe.
to top 5, including the Jaguar selection. I don't expect Joe Flacco to start, given he's 40 years old, and at this point, I would say Kenny Pickett's a better quarterback. On top of that, I think by the end,
Kenny Pickett, why is he better than Flacco?
They're based off what? Like what?
Kenny
Pickett at this point.
Like
well, he does have a winning record.
I wouldn't say that his winning record is why he's a better option, but Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh did a good job running the offense. And the one game that after the Steelers fired Matt Canada, the one game they had in the non-Canada era, he lit up the Bengals with 300 passing yards.
I'm not holding on to a Kenny Pickett game
and
from like
Joe Flacco
2
was
years
41
ago.
years old.
He's
Joe Flacco's
better
41.
than Kenny Pickett.
Neither here nor there.
I don't think it's close.
Kenny Pickett's not better than Shedeur Sanders.
By the end, I'm trying to get to my point.
Cut.
I'm trying to get to my
like,
point.
I'm not gonna lie. Kenny Pickett might get cut.
You're not letting me get to my point. By the end of the season, I think Shedeur Sanders will be the starter. But I would say that week 1, there's a good chance Kenny Pickett wins the job, and I feel he's done a decent job in the games that he played. I know for Philadelphia, he was very up and down, sporadic, but for Pittsburgh, he was somebody that was a very solid game manager, and he wasn't a liability. I felt the offensive structure and the passing attack was really kind of a byproduct of Matt Canada, and it wasn't necessarily Kenny Pickett's wrongdoing that the Steelers were the worst offense in football. Like we saw, I watched every game Kenny Pickett played.
You should be Kenny Pickett's hype man.
No, what I'm telling you is that he can be a very fine bridge quarterback for 16
No, he can't.
Joe Flacco had a game where he threw 350.
He's not good enough to make it through 16 games without the fan base wanting to bench him.
I just said I think by the end of the season, Shedeur Sanders will be the starting quarterback.
God willing, John. We're praying for it.
I don't expect Joe Flacco.
You can't convince me on Pickett over Flacco.
I can't see. And there's some pressure on Kevin Stefanski, given kind of the nature of being the Browns head coach. There's always kind of that internal fire of can you rebuild this culture and the sinking ship. So maybe there is a degree of I want to start a veteran. But Joe Flacco at this point is not a good quarterback either. And we saw 2 years ago for the Browns, he had moments. To say he's a lot better is kind of wild. They're both backups. That's what they are.
That's a fact.
And I think it's...
But Flacco's a serviceable backup. Flacco's like one of the better backups in the league.
Pickett is a serviceable backup too.
Let me ask you,
I will tell you for sure.
Would you rather?
Let me ask you, Flacco in 2022 when he won Comeback Player of the Year, Kenny Pickett has never played as well as that.
No, he's also never had an opportunity to be clear.
He played with the Eagles and wasn't good.
He played 3 games.
He was not good in them games.
Tanner McKee looked better than him. Their third string quarterback.
You're judging that sample size and how much?
That's the best team in the
league. And
you
judge Jalen Hurts harshly because he plays with a boatload of talent, but now when Kenny Pickett plays with that same talent, he doesn't play well.
And this isn't a Jalen Hurts discussion.
I know this isn't a Hurts discussion, but I'm saying, how can you?
Looking at Joe Flacco stats
you can be, you can have compassion for Kenny Pickett not playing well in an Eagle situation, but let Jalen Hurts not play well in an Eagle situation.
John, Kenny Pickett sucks, bro. We don't have to defend him.
I'm not. He's not terrible. Listen. I'm not going to die on a hill, but what I'm telling you is that watching every game that Kenny Pickett played in Pittsburgh, which is a 20-game
Your takeaway wasn't that he wasn't good?
It's a 20-game sample size compared to the 2-game sample size in Philadelphia. I would argue that as a game manager, he can start 6 to 8 games, run the offense fine. He's probably going to average 180 passing yards. Yeah. But the point here is, I think week 1 he'll start over Joe Flacco. But
to me, Joe Flacco gives you some upside because he could have a game where he throws for 303 touchdowns. Kenny Pickett can't.
A lower floor than Kenny Pickett.
No, I think their floors are practically the same. And Kenny Pickett gives me no ceiling. His floor is unplayable. Flacco's is throw 4 interceptions.
I saw him in the one game without Matt Canada throw for over almost.
John, you're hanging on to a game from 3 years ago at this point.
You're missing
one single game.
You're missing the point.
John, you're telling me about a game without Matt Canada. He hasn't coached in years.
Well, that's the whole kind of crux of my argument. I think the Steelers held him back, and he's a better quarterback than what his tape would suggest for the Steelers because of the fact that Matt Canada was his offensive coordinator for all but one of those games. But I feel like for the Browns, their offense does have a decent amount of talent. We saw Cedric Tillman before getting injured play very good football. Good. And then Jerry Jeudy broke out right after. And I feel like their offense has a good amount of playmaking. It just comes down to the running back room, how well they're able to run the football. And the defense last year, they got the 6th most points in the NFL, but it was largely a byproduct of things snowballing. So I expect things to improve this year. But I'm definitely going to stake my flag and say that I think Kenny Pickett will be the week 1 starter. We'll come back in 6 weeks.
I don't see the point in starting Pickett.
I don't see the point in starting a 41-year-old quarterback either.
Well, I feel like
the point in starting a better player.
Flacco gives you the best chance to win.
We saw him in Indianapolis. He had 2 games that were pretty good, and then the rest of the time it was a total dumpster fire.
Flacco gives you a better chance to win than Pickett, but he is 40 years old. Mm-hmm. But Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, their future, I want to bank on more than Pickett. So I don't understand where Pickett fits in this. You're not going to roster 5 quarterbacks. Someone's going to get cut.
All he's saying is that he's going to win the starting quarterback job.
That's literally it.
Oh,
that's all he's saying.
Maybe. I don't know. I would put my money on Flacco because he's the better player.
Our first pick aside deal bet of the year.
Let's do it.
Second.
Flacco versus Kenny Pickett quarterback battle. I'm going Flacco.
I would say Shedeur Sanders wins the job before Flacco.
I just don't know because they traded a pick for Kenny Pickett. Like they traded a sixth.
Oh, now he's backtracking.
I know. I'm just saying why I don't want to make the bet.
Flacco's so much better.
Why I don't want to make because it's still Joe Flacco and Mitch. I don't know what the Browns aren't the organization. I'm gonna be like that's the team I want to use logic.
To be fair, the Eagles traded
doing.
a pick for Kenny Pickett and then they dumped them.
But I feel like the Eagles would be much quicker to if a talent isn't working out. All right, let's move on. We don't got it. You know me, sunk cost.
Because he wasn't a good backup. That's why.
He's a bad backup.
But I would say more importantly, it's interesting to see what Shedeur Sanders does become and what he can show in the games that he does. Because I do think at some point Shedeur will start this year for Cleveland.
So can you explain why Kenny Pickett was the backup in Philly?
What?
Can you explain why?
Who did he lose his job to?
To Tanner McKee.
Tanner McKee.
He was the third string in Philly.
Tanner McKee's crazy.
Like, he played. He wasn't good.
They traded a pick for Kenny Pickett.
So by your logic, you think Kenny Pickett is a better backup quarterback than Joe Flacco
in 2025
right now?
But he lost the backup spot with the Eagles in that offense.
No comment. I'm not commenting. Explain that.
Kenny Pickett's he's in a Zach Wilson tier. He's in a Zach Wilson tier. Kenny Pickett.
That was 2024.
I want nothing to do with it.
5 games, started one.
Was 2024, correct?
Yeah.
If either of them are your backup quarterback, you're not feeling good about it. We'll see though. First bet of the year.
If Flacco's my backup quarterback, I'm feeling great about it.
I love it. Kenny Pickett prop.
Like
Let's
Flacco had
the Jets had a winning season in 15 years.
Okay.
I digress.
Okay. Yeah. Kenny Pickett won y'all a hell of a lot of playoff games,
his feelings now.
Joe Flacco had a 3-game stretch last year, weeks 4 to 6, where he started all 3. He had 7 touchdowns, 1 interception.
I want to say this too.
Pretty decent.
And after that, how to look.
Kenny Pickett in his 1 game with Philly had 291, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 59% completion.
He played 2, 1 start, but he played 2.
So he had 2 starts, and you're saying that he played well in 1 and didn't play well.
Well, Tanner McKee in 1 start had 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and was 67% completion rate. I think that's
Flacco struggled against Minnesota and Buffalo. Those were his 2 bad games. Against Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Tennessee, the Giants, and Jacksonville again. He was pretty damn good last year.
Kenny
Flacco versus Pickett. No, yeah, I mean, I didn't think Kenny Pickett was good, but to be fair, he had the Devontae Smith drop that cost them the game against Washington.
Would have changed a lot.
Yeah, I would have won my bet off that too.
When you think about it, the Eagles, they lost 2 or 3 games in the regular season. Was it 2? I think it was 2.
3.
What was the third game? Because I know
it was
the Falcons.
It was
the Commanders,
and then at the end of the year,
no, Giants. The Bucks. Yeah.
Was it Giants? Might have been. It was one of those bad.
The Bucks, no.
Oh, it was the Bucks.
Yeah,
we might have lost 4.
Yeah.
We might have lost 4.
You beat the Saints in the beginning of the year. You beat the Saints.
Yeah, but we lost to the Falcons. We lost to the Bucks. We lost to the Commanders, and we lost to a bad team at the end of the year.
Week 18, did y'all not play against?
Like a meaningless game?
I think at the end.
Well, those 3 games that you lost, I mean, 2 of them could have been wins without drops.
No, and we choked. The Falcons game and the Commanders game.
Like the Bucks game was their only real loss of the year. Like
that Falcons game was crazy, bro.
Oh, dude, I thought we won.
That was nuts.
Kirk Cousins had a legendary moment. Now
he did.
On to the next team. Cumulative ranking. Next team up. The Carolina Panthers.
I can see this team getting higher.
Yeah.
I can see this team making a move.
How much higher?
I can see this team winning the division.
I can't have them pass any of these worst 8 teams that we have here.
I can see them winning the division too.
I can see them winning the division.
But
no way.
It's an outside chance.
Over the Bucks?
You win 10 games, you have a shot in this division.
You win 8 games, you know 9 games, you have a shot.
Are the Panthers good enough to win 10
Probably
games?
Probably not.
So I feel like there are 2 things.
How many games they won last year?
5. They won 5.
Unfortunate.
I would say there's 2 things with the Panthers that are the most interesting storylines. Number 1 is how much that defense improves. I'm not saying it's the best or most interesting storyline, but it probably is the biggest factor in their success. They were 32nd overall, 32nd against the pass, 32nd against the run. They made some additions. Derek Brown's coming back. Tashawn Warren, they signed him. Bobby Brown, they signed him from the Rams. But overall, this is still, and it might be, a very bad defensive unit. The second question is, was what we saw from Bryce Young in the last 10 weeks of the season real? Will he continue to progress and be the Panthers franchise guy? They drafted Ted McMillan to help him out. So where do you guys stand, I think, on the most important factor of the Panthers' long-term success, which is how good is Bryce Young really?
I'm excited for that. Do you want to hit it off first?
Go for it.
I felt like last year we saw the Panthers build their offensive line on the run game with Chuba Hubbard, and then the next step was finding that X receiver on the outside, which Ted McMillan can be. And for Bryce, it was clean football play in the second half, but still not the most explosive the passing attack could have been. And now you have Xavier Legette, who obviously an up and down rookie, was playing through injury, and now that you have him and Adam Thielen in those complementary roles, opposed to being the focal parts of the offensive passing attack, I feel like the Panthers offense can be a lot better this year and just a lot more consistent from weeks 1 to 8. And of course, like you mentioned before, they were the worst defense in football this last year. They added guys in free agency. They drafted Nick Scorton. And I feel like even with that, that's probably going to be what holds this team back. And I feel like a successful season for them is really just Bryce Young progressing further, because when you show signs, especially at the end of your second season, that's enough for the franchise to say, we're going to keep rolling, we're going to keep building around you, but Bryce still has to continue building off that and getting better.
Yeah, I think a successful season for them, in my opinion, is just end of the year, you look at the season you had, and you're like, all right, Bryce Young is our franchise quarterback. If they can get that answer correct at the end of the season, if it's a yes, I feel like that's successful in itself of, all right, now we can really start to build this team around Bryce. I feel like they kind of did that in this offseason, but they wasn't fully super committed because, 7 games, you still have to wait and see. But I think at the end of the year, even if it's like week 10, week 11, when you see him playing really well, where the drop-off isn't going to be insane, he's putting up numbers, he's uplifting his team, he's a lot more calm in the pocket, he's making big-time plays, Tet's also playing well. You see that connection at a different level. You see the offense, like John mentioned, just grooving and doing their thing. If they're like a top 15-ish offense, you're sitting there like, all right, Bryce is our guy. This isn't a division that's super hard, super difficult. Atlanta has a young quarterback. They're trying to figure things out. The Saints are going to be in rebuild mode for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. Tampa's not this all-time high-profile team. They're a good team, but they're a beatable team. I think Carolina could really do some things. So it's really about just answering that question. I think everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think drafting Tet makes everyone's life easier because now Legette could slide into more of a 2-hole, Thielen more of a 3-hole. I also like picking up Rico Dowdle as your backup running back that you have there with Hubbard, of course, because unfortunately Jonathan Brooks just, man, he has the knee injury coming into college or coming into the NFL from college. He plays, was it a game, a quarter? Like he played, I don't think he finished his first game and then has another season and injury. I forgot if it was Achilles or if it was his other knee or whatever it was, but second round pick that felt like went down the drain. But I think Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard can be one of the more impactful but low-key running back duos in the NFL. Rico was really solid for the Cowboys last year down the stretch when they were starting to give him the rock and featuring him as a workhorse. And we saw how great Hubbard was throughout all of last season, really his breakout campaign. So I think the offense falls into place more now that you have Tet and everyone slides down. The running back should be good. I think you feel really confident in this offensive line too as last season went on and then the additions you made. It's really the defense, though. The defense feels really unproven. And, of course, you have guys like J.C. Horn coming back from injury who, when he's at the top of his game and he's healthy, we know he can be one of the best corners in the NFL, but it just feels like an unproven defense. So I think Bryce Young is set up as well as he has been. It's not saying a ton because I think you still look at the offense and say there could be some improvements there. But he's set up as well as he has been since he got drafted. Strong offensive line. I think Tet's going to have a great year. I know he wasn't hyped up as a top 10 pick in terms of where other guys have got drafted in the past as a prospect, but I think he's going to come in. He could be a guy that flirts with 1,000 yards his first season and really help open up this offense for Bryce.
The Panthers are hard for me to project because I think they're going to be a bad defense. And Bryce Young, I'm kind of torn between whether or not what we saw was real or if it's not, because I don't know how sustainable it is. The Panthers' most impressive, I think, games were against KC. They lost by 3. They lost by 3 to Tampa Bay in overtime when Chuba Hubbard fumbled. Could have very well won that game. And against Philly, Legette doesn't drop a touchdown. They probably are walking it off on Philly. Like, that's how good the Panthers looked in some games. But then later in the year, they lost to Dallas 14-30. So after coming off a close loss against Philly, they lose and get blown out to an inferior Dallas Cowboys team. And their defense and their defensive line with Micah healthy was one of the elite units, and it really caused Bryce Young some trouble. And then they also faced Tampa Bay second to last week to the season, and they lost 14-48. So it's kind of like the Buccaneers lost by 3 the first time around. Then the second time around, they said, we can't play no games, and then they ended up beating them by 30-plus points. So to me, it's hard to figure out how real Carolina is. I think Bryce Young progressed in the way that he sees the field. He had 15 touchdowns and 6 picks in the last 10 games. And he has figured out how to maneuver the pocket to see over the offensive line and deliver passes. But his play style has some variance because in order to see over his offensive lineman, he oftentimes needs to backtrack and retreat from the pocket. And when you do that, you leave your tackles more susceptible to getting beat because now it's an easier target. Instead of collapsing the pocket to your quarterback, it's going to be right there. They are going to meet each other. So that's where I think Bryce Young's game, has to take a little bit of a turn. But overall, I think it's an interesting story with him being one of the shorter, if not the shortest starting quarterback right now in the NFL, how he's able to manage and be successful in the NFL despite the height limitation. Towards the last 10 weeks of the season, he did that. He played really well. Yeah. And now they have a number one wide receiver, and I think the offense is on the uptrend. But it's just the defense just holds them back so much. They need Derek Brown and JC to both be Pro Bowl level players for that defense to be serviceable.
JC had a great year last year.
He did have a great year, but can he stay healthy again?
Yep.
That's a question mark. And with Derek Brown is how good will he be off an injury? So that's why I feel like they don't have the most going for them on defense. Even the most optimistic viewpoints, it's hard to project them as more than a below average defensive unit next year.
Yeah.
Next team in the cumulative ranking.
28.
The New York Jets.
Here we go.
20.
Let's do it,
This is when we start talking about the contenders.
We can see this team win 7 games.
Whoa. I can see them winning 9. Let's get crazy.
Let's get
crazy.
wicked. Listen. First of all, I want to say shout out to the Jets for keeping their 2-star players on both sides of the football. Ahmed Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Both of them getting paid. They deserve that very much. Top of their position. Garrett Wilson is great. Huh?
He clears Quinn.
Yo, does he have a ring? No. Probably won't ever get one either. Sucks.
Hopefully.
Malcolm Butler has a ring.
He played for the Patriots.
He did.
If Sauce leaves, maybe he'll get a ring. Out the Jets though, baby. Jets kind of had a weird year. Started the year off a little bit rocky.
Terrible year.
Fired Robert Saleh. Defense fell off an insane high point, Mount Everest cliff.
Bad choice.
Offense just kind of got better, but played weaker competition towards the end of the season. Aaron Rodgers and that whole bubble is gone. Just a distraction, I feel like, and just the headache that it was on both sides. I'm not going to put it all on him. I feel like it was both sides. That is gone. You bring in Justin Fields, so you're not expecting much, unfortunately, of my brother to death, but he has not shown he can be a willing, efficient pocket passer or just a accurate passer. He's more of a guy who can make the big-time play here and there and can really beat you with his legs. I feel like that's going to keep the Jets in a good amount of games, but I feel like they're looking at the draft. They're looking at how can they build more talent through the draft, having high draft picks to maybe bring in more talent, but you kept your star players. That's good. Yeah, that's really all I have to say.
I think the Jets are weird. They can have a combination of Zach Wilson, Mike White, and Trevor Siemian start and win 7 games, and then you bring in Aaron Rodgers, who was an upgrade at the quarterback position, and they win 5 games. I think the biggest culprit of it was just Robert Saleh getting fired. I think after Robert Saleh got fired, the defense fell off a cliff, and the ownership, Woody Johnson, didn't allow this team to mesh long enough. But the first 5 weeks of the year, the Jets defense was first in yards allowed per play, and they're one of the better defensive units in the NFL. And for the season, the defensive line generated pressure almost 20% of the time in 2.5 seconds or less, which was the 6th best in the NFL. So with Jermaine Johnson coming back healthy, this defense still has talent. I think we downgraded from DJ Reed to Brandon Stevens. And I think safety, there is some potential there, but Andre Sisco had an even worse season, and Ashton Davis and Chuck Clark. So who knows if that's going to be much of an upgrade. But the Jets' defensive talent is there. I like Aaron Glenn. I like the culture shift with them. I think the biggest question mark with them is how good would the offensive line be? The offensive line is just adding one new player. That's Membu. That's it. But everybody else is staying the same. And that unit, while it has potential and it's young, they were 23rd in pass block win rate, and they were 29th in run block win rate. And they were 29th in yards before contact created. So this wasn't a good run blocking offensive line. It was one of the worst in the NFL. You just add one player to that offensive line, and now we're expecting, just because you pluck Aaron Rodgers out of there and you have Justin Fields in and you have a new philosophy, now everything's going to be better. But I don't have that same viewpoint because I think Breece Hall's inefficiencies were in large part due to the inconsistent run blocking offensive line play. The Lions, coming from the identity they come from, being a run-first team, I think a big reason why they got Justin Fields is to lean in all the way into the run. Okay, but can consistently block well for the run game to open up? Because Fields has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. He, I think, still is one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So you cannot expect him to uplift the situation around him. It has to be the other way around. And Garrett Wilson has been phenomenal, and he has some chemistry with Justin Fields, but he is also the only receiver we have on the team. After Garrett Wilson, there is nobody. It's a dry receiving and skill positions room. So I think the Jets, it's weird. They won 7 games with the worst offense in the NFL and one of the best defenses.
Probably win less.
And this past season with Aaron Rodgers, they went from the worst offense to a middle of the pack offense, and they won 5 games. So it's weird. I think the Jets overall, there's just so many question marks. I cannot project them to even be in the hunt. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Maybe they'll be in the hunt and scrappy, John. You never know. Joel could be the pessimist. I have no problem being the optimist. You guys know me when it comes to the Jets. But I think there's things you should be hopeful about, because I do think, like you mentioned, this team is going to be built on running the ball. It's going to be built on a lot of what the Lions want to build, right? We're going to punch you in your face. And although the offensive line, the numbers that you presented weren't pretty, I would make the argument that the 2 biggest weaknesses were at the tackle spots. And for a good portion of the year last year, it was Tyron Smith at left tackle, and then Fashion who came in, but then he got banged up. He never really got to get his feet under him. But I feel like when he played, he showed a lot of potential, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, that looks like a franchise surefire left tackle, but he has all the traits you want to see in a franchise left tackle, and he's still super young. So you're really replacing 2 positions, because Fashion was starting from day one. Membu, in all likelihood, starting from day one as well as right tackle, because they didn't have any answer there last season. So you are, changing 2 out of the 5 pieces. The interior graded out really well last year. Joe Tippmann, AVT, John Simpson were all above average when it comes to PFF grades, both in run and pass. There is going to be a center competition, though, between Josh Myers and Joe Tippmann, and it seems like Josh Myers might even have the inside track, which seems odd just because of how well Tippmann has played so far throughout his career, and he's a younger player. But I think the offense, it's not going to be that difficult to be better than it was last year. Like, Aaron Rodgers was a bottom 10 quarterback in basically every metric you were looking at. And I'm not expecting Justin Fields to be even a top 15 quarterback this year. But if he could be explosive with his legs, if he could take care of the football and have a connection that we saw him have with DJ Moore a couple years ago, he already has a relationship with Garrett Wilson. That's what I'm looking for offensively. And if Breece Hall is able to get back to that form that we saw within the first couple of seasons, one of the most explosive backs in the NFL, someone who can pass catch as well among some of the best in the NFL, now this offense comes together not as a powerhouse, but can you be a top 20 unit? And then defensively, can you get back to what you were a couple of years ago? Because, of course, losing Robert Saleh hurt a lot. But like you said, the talent's still there. Like, I still think Sauce is at worst a top 5 corner. You did have, you had guys break out in the last couple of years. You had last year, Will McDonald had double-digit sacks. Jermaine Johnson, of course, was injured, but 2 years ago showed a ton of flashes. The linebacking core, of course, you're losing CJ Mosley, but Quincy Williams, you have Quinnen up front. There's so much talent on this team outside of just the big names in Sauce and Quinnen that I have faith that this could be a solid unit. Again, I don't think they're going to win double-digit games, but
sure,
if you hit on the head coach and Aaron Glenn is a guy we're looking at the end of the year, like, yo, this is actually one of, like, the 10 best coaches in the NFL. He has, like, maybe a Dan Campbell, like, weight to him where he's able to really motivate this team. He could take you, I think, from a 6-win team to maybe, an 8-win team. That's all I'm looking for right now.
Well, Dan Campbell in his first year was awful with the Lions.
Yeah, but this Jets team has more talent than that Lions team has.
That Lions offense was better than ours. Their defense held them back.
Yeah, true. But I think their defense will be a lot better. And I think the offense will be serviceable.
The Jets defense in 2023, they were 4th in points per drive. Last season, they were 23rd in points per drive. So it fell off incredibly. And I think it's because of scheme, Robert Saleh getting fired. But you're basically just telling me that the power of friendship, Justin Fields being friends with Garrett Wilson is going to help this team win games. I got to see it.
All I said was Justin Fields has shown in the past to lock in on his wide receiver one, DJ Moore. That's all he's got to do here. Respect to Josh Reynolds. You don't.
And
need
he
the
don't
ball.
got to turn the ball over, and he's turned the ball over.
He probably will turn the ball over too.
I felt for the Jets, I had them at 29 coming in. This is a team that
Me too.
There's two different sides of the coin for the Jets. On one hand, I like adding in Aaron Glenn as your new head coach because that's the one where they clearly targeted to rebuild the culture of the team. And the nice part about this offseason was fleshing out some of the veterans, and I think that's where the Jets shapeshift immediately as a team. Last year with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, this was a pass-heavy group. And this year, it's going to look entirely different where the Jets are kind of rediscovering their strengths as a team, and you felt, given how much they've invested in the offensive line, like the Panthers and like the Saints, like the Titans, the floor of this team and really the identity of this team will be formed by the running back room. You have Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen from last year, and then Breece Hall coming off a disappointing season, and then how all the offensive lines are going to develop. And those two things are going to be what allows Justin Fields to either grow from this year with the Steelers or stagnate as a quarterback, which is why the Bears ultimately decided to take the first overall pick in Caleb Williams over having him as their long-term answer. So I feel like the Jets last year losing Jermaine Johnson to the torn Achilles was also a big part of that. Larry getting back this year, but it's his first year coming off an absolutely brutal injury. So I worry about the secondary outside of Sauce, losing DJ Reed. I thought Brandon Stevens last year was one of the worst starting corners in football. I don't know why they signed him, but they did. But that being said, what I'm really looking forward to is the type of an energy that Aaron Glenn brings into the room. Because like you highlighted with that Lion comparison with Dan Campbell, they were a competitive team, and you put it very well. It was like the worst winless team of all time when they started like 0-9, 0-10.
The best winless team of all time.
That's what I meant to say. Thank you for putting it the right way. And I feel like with Aaron Glenn, that's kind of the analog here you can draw for the Jets.
People forget that Drew had the 3 years in a row Lions take. They're the best, worst team ever.
You did.
Yes, best, worst team ever. Mm-hmm. That is the correct statement.
I'm excited for the Jets, man.
You are.
I am.
What's there to be excited about?
Justin Fields, a new head coach, Garrett Wilson and Sauce locked up.
I'm excited about Garrett Wilson and Sauce being locked up.
What's there not to be excited about?
A lot of things.
Brandon Stevens.
Justin Fields.
Crazy because you was excited about Zach Wilson. I don't know how you can't be excited.
That's because that was before I knew he was bad. I know Fields is bad.
You knew he was bad the year too.
There was fog of war. There was fog of war of young quarterback.
Justin Fields could be better than Aaron Rodgers was last year. It's not that hard.
Year one could have been just bad rookie year. Year two could have been breakout. I've seen 3 years of Fields now.
True.
3 whole years. Have you given up on him yet?
I mean, I know he's going to put up these insane rushing numbers. I'm excited.
Draft him in fantasy, that's for sure.
Yeah, really? It's lit.
Number 27 on our list, the New York Football Giants.
They don't have an offense.
And this ranking
neighbors, though, Riff.
is exactly where I had them. I had the Giants at 27. Last 3 seasons with Dable, they went from 9 to 6 to 3 wins. Last year, they lost 8 of 9 one-score games. So this was a team that was in a lot of games, over half of them,
Russell
but
Wilson.
they ended up losing. And here, maybe this is the first time that I'm going to talk myself into Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I think the optimism for the Giants lies in the defensive front. That's what I'm most optimistic about. Abdul Carter joining Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau has put up some solid stat production. And then they have a young secondary with adding Holland and adding in Adebo and having Drew Phillips still in the secondary too. I think it's shaping up to be the strongest unit on their team, the strongest side, the whole defensive side, and it gives them a legit strength. It gives them something going into every week. We have 2 edge rushers and an interior defensive lineman that you guys cannot consistently block. And I think with offensive lines around the league often being weak or having multiple weak points, that's when they could exploit. But this is what I found interesting about Russell Wilson when reading up about him. Now, I don't think the Giants' record is going to be that good. They have the most difficult schedule in 2025.
It's absolutely incredible.
Of 43 qualifying quarterbacks, Russ ranked 8th in EPA per attempt in a clean pocket with the best big play rate. When throwing 15-plus yards down the field, Russ ranked 4th in accuracy. Giants quarterbacks over the past 2 years, they were 28th in EPA per attempt in a clean pocket. Russell Wilson, when he's operating in a clean pocket, generates big plays, is a positive quarterback. It's when he's pressured, he ranked 38th amongst 43 qualifying quarterbacks, and the Giants were 31st in early down pressure rate allowed. So this is an offensive line that's not very good, and if Russell Wilson is getting pressure, he's going to be bad. But if he's in a clean pocket and Andrew Thomas can stay healthy because he hasn't been able to since 2022, it can be different. But the shift in personnel is what I'm excited about with Russell Wilson, because with the Broncos, not a lot of receiving talent. They played in a lot of 12 personnel sets, 2 tight ends on the field, only 2 wide receivers. Steelers, Arthur Smith the same way. When you look at the Giants last season, their 11 personnel usage on early downs was 69%. That was 5th in the NFL. The Steelers, when Russ was with them, was 46%. That ranked 26th. And the Broncos was 52%. That ranked 25th. Russ in 11 personnel ranked 4th in EPA per attempt. With 2 wide receivers or fewer, he ranked 41st in EPA per attempt. So Russell Wilson, with the field spread out with more wide receivers, was one of the 10 most efficient quarterbacks in football. The Giants, a lot of 11 personnel with Slayton, with Neighbors, with Wandell going to be on the field. So I think Russell Wilson is a better scheme fit with Brian Daboll. And I just keep coming back to, if Brian Daboll was able to get at least the most out of Daniel Jones for 1 year, Russell Wilson, who's a much more stable quarterback, is going to take sacks, but isn't going to throw interceptions. He outside of sacks, avoids negative plays. This is a stable quarterback option they have. And then Jameis Winston is just like kind of like the biggest wild card there. But
Jackson Dart too in that quarterback.
Jackson Dart,
First round pick.
But I think with the Giants having a floor for their defense and Russell Wilson giving them better quarterback play over the last couple of years, I could see this team winning a couple more games than we expect them to this upcoming season.
It's absolutely incredible because as we went through this, I've looked at the schedule of each of the teams that we're kind of listing, and you look at this Giant team on paper, and I actually really like it. I look back at that Giant team a couple of years ago that won a playoff game. This roster is better than that. And yet, despite going 3-14 last year, I look at the Giant schedule, and they're playing 10 playoff teams. And then the luck of the draw, finishing 4th in division, they're pulling teams like the Bears and the 49ers in that same schedule to a point where it's like every single week you're playing a very good team. And for that reason, you look at, especially later in the year, the more time that this defense has to kind of develop and that front seven is able to kind of take over games in the second half. And you feel like the Giants have a strong floor, but what I'm excited to kind of look at is, like you mentioned, Malik Neighbors having a stable quarterback play. Last year was a carousel of Tyrod Taylor, Daniel Jones, and Tommy DeVito. And Malik Neighbors still had an absolutely awesome rookie season. And then you kind of pair that in with Tyron Tracy and Cam Scatterbo coming into the mix. And I feel that Brian Daboll, who he knows just how much pressure is on him, he told Jackson Dart, I'm banking on you when he drafted him. There's a lot of pressure on him to do his absolute best work this season. And I don't think, kind of like the way we talk about Stefanski, I don't think all of the blame and all of the pressure is Daboll's own wrongdoing as much as it was the lack of talent on this team. But it's the best quarterback he's had. Malik Neighbors, to me, is already a top 10 receiver. Spoiler. And then I feel like the running backs and the offensive line, if Andrew Thomas stays healthy, they can be serviceable enough for this team to be competible. No, I've got them at like number 28, Dells, because of the fact that schedule is
there's no
truly
shot this team wins 7 games.
Unbearable. And it's incredible. That's the only way I can look at it. For a team that won 3 games, to be playing damn near 12 playoff teams.
No shot this team wins 7 games. I'm looking at the schedule. It's
What's a success for them?
Jackson Dart.
They play tough in every
Jackson Dart should see the field. If Russ misses a game or two, because of the fact you took him in the first round, and you want, kind of like Michael Penix the last couple of games, see some good signs of growth. If Dable doesn't get fired, then ideally the defense is one of the better units in football.
Their first 6 games is Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Saints, Eagles.
They're 1-5 probably.
Probably. Yeah. And then they go Broncos, Eagles, Niners, Bears, Green Bay, Detroit, Patriots is the next semi-not hard game. Then Commanders, Vikings.
Yeah,
then Raiders.
Did I make a mistake to not play the
Dable
Niners?
surviving the season? Huh? He said Niners.
They are playing the Niners?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
My prediction is I think Dable does survive the season. I think that the Giants, they win a couple of those games that we don't expect them to win.
No, how many games do they win? Fuck all the cups, because I see what you try.
I think they double their win total. I could see 6-7 games they win.
I don't see 7. We can I don't see 7.
I'm setting the line at 5.5.
I'm sitting at 5 too.
I
like
think
5. They're in 2 or 3 tough ones, but lose them.
They're going to be a really competitive scrap.
For sure. They'll be
you
the
need
best.
You need to sneak 2 away in the division somehow.
They'll be the best. Yeah. What's the shit you said about Detroit?
Best
worst team in the league.
I got 6.
6?
I think they rattle off 6.
There's a comfortable chance. I mean, but there is a legit chance where they only win 1 division game this year.
Assuming John Mara
possibly
doesn't do a Woody Johnson, fires Dable in the middle of the season, because if Dable's coaching for his job and the locker room is playing for him, they may be let's say it's a 3-10 team, but that last month
they show some
hope
fight.
that they're still showing some fight for Dable.
Well, John Mara said that in order for Brian Dable to keep his job, He was asked about his job security. He said that I have to be in a better mood next year than I was right now.
Well, if Jackson Dart shows out and he has some
He's
highlight
definitely in a
plays,
better
they'll
mood
feel
yeah.
a better mood because after this year, there was not much to be hopeful about.
There is
think,
reportedly,
go ahead.
there's an extensive plan for Jackson Dart's development.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to keep him after practice longer with film sessions, and he'd be a part of the scout team to
There you
practice
go.
against the starters during the season.
That's
So
a good thing.
there's a whole plan in place for him to be ready.
Yeah, I think the defense, which we've all talked about, is what you're holding your hat on here.
Mhm.
The opposite side of the ball, Joel, I condemn you. I applaud you for, putting out some really beautiful Russell Wilson energy out there. I just think the
Russ
book
was good last year, man.
I think the book on Russ it's pretty much figured out at this point. I think we know most common defenses know how to stop Russell Wilson. And when you look at this offense where there's really only one weapon you're truly concerned about, it's going to be hard on him. But the path to it is this offensive line is healthy. Andrew Thomas is healthy, and they can play at an average to above average level. The other part of that, though, is you need to have a consistent running game, I think, if you want to seriously be in 6 or 7 games, because run through that schedule, you're playing some of the best teams in the NFL, it feels like, every damn week, especially when you look at your division, the Commanders and the Eagles, that's 4 games right there. The Cowboys are better than you, that's 6 games right there. So you need to have a run game that could complement it. I think Tyrone Tracy showed that he could be a solid running back, but as a pass catcher, he really shines. I think Scatterbo is maybe where you see more in the first and second down.
Yep.
It's just Ken Scatterbo, his play style is like, it's obvious who he is, right? Like he is a bruiser. I don't think he's going to be able to get away with all of the stuff he was doing in college because he would break 17 tackles on one play and just do stupid shit. I don't know if that's going to translate to the next level. I don't know if Scatterbo is going to have that type of tackle breaking ability. So what's going to be kind of his way to figure it out post that, because he's going to be bigger defenders, stronger defenders, and I don't know if he's going to see the same level of success.
Russell Wilson, I don't think is washed.
No, in the aggregate, he played good football for this team.
Well, in the aggregate's right.
Let me correct my statement.
After the first
the
4
Raven
games,
game was awful, but for the most part, the playoff game was good.
Let me correct my statement. I think Russell Wilson is obviously washed from where he was at one point.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. I think he is better than Daniel Jones.
Kenny Pickett's
you're right. Kenny Pickett probably is the worst. He's not even a starter. But Russell Wilson, he still has his deep ball. He can still throw it. His mobility, scrambling out the pocket, has diminished, but he can still throw the ball deep. And I feel like that's something that the Giants quarterbacks have not had.
No.
From Daniel Jones, he didn't throw down the field with accuracy, or he didn't look there at all. Tommy DeVito couldn't pass over 20 yards.
Malik was not getting any type of deep looks.
Like, look at how well Tyrod Taylor played with the Giants last year when Daniel Jones went out. Like, I don't think it's out the realm that you can get Russell Wilson level production, if not better than what Tyrod was giving you. And Tyrod was really efficient for them.
He was.
Because Russ pushed the ball downfield, whether it was George or when he was out, Calvin Alston. And having that vertical dimension for Malik Neighbors is going to really help his production.
Yeah, and even the threats they have, I think Darius Slay, like, he's a deep field wide receiver. That's his game.
He's a solid player.
Wan'Dale Robinson, I think he set the record for most receptions with the amount of yards he had. The yards per attempt was maybe 5.
What's going on with Jalen Hyatt, man?
Well, maybe he breaks out with Russell Wilson.
Hey,
maybe
man,
this is the year.
I'm waiting, just like you.
Jalen Hyatt.
I'm waiting.
Hey,
man.
they got off Darren Waller. Got a draft pick. That's a W.
Theo Johnson.
Wan'Dale Robinson gets straight checkdowns. No troll. Straight checkdowns.
No, really. He really does.
Shout out to Malik Neighbors, though. Cool in LSU.
Now, the next team up on our cumulative list at number 26, the Indianapolis Colts.
We averaged out to the Colts at 26?
Yes, the Colts are at 26. Now, this feels rude because I think the Colts roster has talent.
It does.
I do. It feels like they should be higher, but then when I compare them to the other teams that are higher, I cannot see that.
I don't think both of them are good.
So now I think that Bo's a good question because I think the success for the Colts is, number one, is Anthony Richardson a bust or is he not a bust?
So far, fuck yeah.
So since 2000, out of 112 quarterbacks with 130 pass attempts or more, Anthony Richardson ranks 110th in completion percentage. And he ranks 112th out of 112 quarterbacks in third down completion percentage at 35%. This is a historically inaccurate quarterback, really not being able to consistently complete passes in a quarterback competition with Daniel Jones, who has been one of the best quarterbacks in terms of on-target percentage. One thing about him is that he's going to check it down and he's going to go to the right option and he's going to complete passes. Interesting dynamic there between who wins the quarterback battle. I like the Colts roster. I think they have an underrated room of skill position players. JT's the star. He's still one of the very best running backs in the NFL. Josh Downs was targeted on 29.4% of his routes. The only players that were targeted more than him on a percentage basis were Puka Nacua and Malik Neighbors. Alec Pierce led the NFL in yards per reception at 22. Pierce. He's amazing. He's really good. A really good deep threat.
Better than Gabe Davis ever was.
Sure. And then A.D. Mitchell, he was top 10 in ESPN open score, but 25% of his passes were inaccurate, of his targets were inaccurate. So they have a good set of skill position players. Michael Pittman Jr. is still there, but I think he's kind of physically declining, and it's noticeable.
He was playing through a fractured back last season, which is important to know.
That sounds insane, too.
Because he still started me when healthy. In the Steeler game, he had like 140 yards and took over, but he was out in the injury.
And then their defense, Charvarius Ward, Cam Bynum. I like the secondary. They brought in Lou Anarumo. So that defense should improve. But like outside of AR, which is the biggest question mark, I think the edge rushing unit, specifically Laiatu Latu, is the second biggest question mark on the team. Because they drafted him, I believe, over Jared Verse. So Jared Verse is an all-pro player who I think is a dark horse for defensive player of the year this upcoming year. And the Colts defensive line and pass rush still ranks towards the bottom. So they need Latu to break out and be one of the better edge rushers in the league to make that pick worth it. So I think they have two questions on both sides of the ball, both having to do with their highly drafted picks.
Yeah, I think this is the time where I'm happy I'm not a GM, Riv, because I would have probably got fired for Anthony Richardson. I thought this was someone that could come in and he had all the traits to be a superstar. I would have had a roster with Trey Lance, Treylon Burks, and Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, you really miss on
I'd figure some shit out. I'd maybe move positions or do something. But what I'm worried about in the sense from an Anthony Richardson fan, because I still want him to be a franchise quarterback, I think Daniel Jones could very easily win the quarterback job. Because when I think of OTAs and training camp is where Daniel Jones is going to shine. Because it's going to be 7-on-7. It's going to be no pads or light pads.
No pressure.
There's not going to be a pass rush. He could just sit there and be accurate and throw the ball. You're not really seeing a lot of guys in training camp. Anthony Richardson, they're not going to want you to take off with the ball. Like, they want you to sit in the pocket and complete passes. That's what they're going to want to see in practice. Daniel Jones has a huge leg up there, where just as a practice player, he's going to show more consistency because we know Anthony Richardson. He has shown this in the limited time he has played. He's a boom or bust player. He's going to have those plays to Alex Pierce 50 yards down the field, and you're going to have these explosive moments. But the inconsistencies are there. Like, he's going to have those moments where he misses simple throws 5 yards away from him too. But what he brings with his legs is what you hope can unlock some of that potential and can buy him some time to become an accurate passer. I think Daniel Jones just has the upper hand when it comes to this quarterback battle. I hope AR can figure it out because I do think that some of his tools, they're still there. They're inside of him. They just got to be pulled out. You got to be more consistent with it.
Shit.
But, I mean, when we're talking about stature, we're talking about arm, talking about physical tools, it's the same stuff we talked about when he got drafted. And unfortunately, none of that has really been able to be shown consistently. And this feels like his last year in Indianapolis. If he doesn't figure it out, if the Colts end up starting Daniel Jones for the majority of the season, there's a real world where he is on a different team next season. And it seems hyperbolic, but this kind of feels like a make or break point in his early career.
It is.
It's make or break, and the unfortunate part about him is they can't even take advantage of his skill set and his athleticism because he's injury prone.
That's very true.
So Jalen Hurts' 2020 year MVP level season, he was averaging 10 carries per game. And Shane Steichen would call those quarterback design runs because he knew Jalen would protect himself and Jalen's durable. Anthony Richardson does not protect himself and he is not shown to be durable. Mm-hmm. So you can't utilize his athleticism.
Serious injuries too. Like shoulder surgeries, concussions, serious injuries.
You can't utilize his athleticism as a part of your offense.
Yeah, and the toughest part is I feel for quarterbacks to develop, it comes down to reps. And given he only played 4 games as a rookie, it felt like last year was his de facto rookie season. And then on top of that, for a Colt offense that has all these weapons, the wide receiver room is loaded to me. I feel like Michael Pittman's a star when healthy. And then you add in Tyler Warren in the draft. It seems like Daniel Jones, the best passer, gained the most out of each of those weapons. And especially Jonathan Taylor opening up the play action attack. So I feel like there's a decent chance that Daniel Jones does win this job in training camp. And I think the good reporting and the good news is that there was some kind of beliefs that Anthony Richardson's shoulder, which was a bigger concern, the injury earlier in the summer, it's healed and he might be ready for week 1. That being said, it really is a type of job where, talked about before, some of these other coaches, Shane Steichen's trying to win games. And if Daniel Jones gives him the best chance to, there's a possibility he rolls with him over their former top 4 pick. So for that, I feel like it's a weird year for the Colts where you like the roster, you like a lot of the defensive pieces in the secondary, you add in Charvarius Ward, you like the weapons. I feel like this team's got so much talent, but kind of like Cleveland in a way, it's the quarterback positions and certainly holding them back.
Yeah, this is a team that just 2-3 seasons ago won 9 games with Gardner Minshew and was a game away from making the playoffs. And then they go into that offseason draft Anthony Richardson. Like, this could be the guy that kind of brings it all around. We've had bridge to older guys. We talk about, Tennessee being wide receiver graveyard. I feel like quarterbacks go to Indianapolis time to finish their career.
Or
Wentz was there. Or Pittsburgh also. Wentz was there, Phillip Rivers was there, and they were competent for the most part.
Matt Ryan, don't forget about him.
Matt Ryan was definitely there.
Can't forget about Matt Ryan.
How could you?
Woo.
That was one that definitely didn't pop up in my brain. Thank you, Joel. And I feel like
he was good for them too.
Holy shit,
I don't really care about that part. But
it was awful.
They draft AR to be that guy. And like you mentioned, John, the wide receiving room is nice. Like just the offense feels nice. You got JT, who's still one of the best running backs in the league. A.D. Mitchell, I feel like we didn't say his name a little bit, but he can get separation. Yeah, he's good. Alex Pierce, like Joel's texting the chat, Alex Pierce had a really good year.
864 yards on 32 receptions.
How many slot receivers are better than him? I don't mean to stop you.
Wait, slot? Alec Pierce?
He plays.
I'm talking about Josh Downs. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Josh Downs first.
No, Alex playing the outside. That's why you confused us for a little bit. We're here.
Josh Downs, he's one of the better ones.
Pierce is an outside receiver. I
started
talking about their
slot.
slot.
Who do you categorize as a slot? You categorize Puka as a slot, Ladd as a slot?
Puka can be. He's so versatile that you can put him in multiple different
I feel like Amon-Ra is a slot.
Amon-Ra would be the first name I think of. Because Josh Downs last year is like one of the highest players in the NFL in broken tackles. And I feel like when you look at the short list of top slot receivers, having him as a number 2 is something that doesn't get enough credit.
Josh Downs,
I think he's the best receiver on that team.
I agree. Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, JT, sexy. Tyler Warren, sexy. It's a legit offense with good young pieces. So I think that's the most important part. All these players are young. All these players, I think JT's probably the oldest, in his 26. Prime is different for running backs. He's probably 26. Nearing the end of his prime, but so good, so explosive. All these young wide receivers can make some noise. It really is like Dell's mentioned, you got to go into that QB training camp. You got to be accurate. I think if AR just is a slight bit accurate, he gives you a better chance to win because of his explosive playmaking that he can do. But the accuracy on the down-to-down basis is the problem right here. And I think Daniel Jones can give you a little bit more than that. But you're a team in Indianapolis where you don't want Daniel Jones to win the job. I think because if he does win the job, you kind of can put to bed to AR, him being a top 3 pick. You kind of wasted a pick on a player you thought to change the franchise. Obviously, for Shane Steichen, he just wants to win games. That's what the coaches want to do. They want to win games. I think Daniel Jones can help them win games. But for this type of division also, I feel like unless you win the division and you're better than the Houston Texans, which I don't see the Colts being that, it'll be really tough for this team to make the playoffs.
I think they're drafting a quarterback next offseason. I don't think AR is going to work out. I think Daniel Jones is clearly a bridge. I think they're drafting a QB next year.
What if they wait one more year?
That's a very good idea. I think it's possible. I almost wonder, and it's just a thought that I have, Colts have a top 10 O-line. We've hyped up the receiver room for good reason. They have one of the best running backs in football. What are the odds that Daniel Jones has a Ryan Tannehill-esque resurgence in his career?
How excited are you for that?
Not very excited. This offering the idea and where
I don't know if Ryan Tannehill, just because Ryan Tannehill a couple of years there were statistically he was top 10 guy. I don't know if he's going to get to there, but I do think if he starts, we've seen Daniel Jones when everything's perfect around him and Brian Dable is scheming shit up. We've seen Daniel Jones have success. And I feel with Shane Steichen, what this run game could be, we talked about the offense, he could have some success too, right? And he's also not as mobile as Anthony Richardson, but he's a mobile guy. Even after his injuries, he's still someone that could, rack up 300 rushing yards, 400 rushing yards throughout a season if he's able to stay healthy. So I don't know if he has that type of resurgence where we're looking at him week 8 and it's like, holy shit, Daniel Jones is 8th in EPA per play. But I think he could come back to after this year. Okay, he's looked at a lot differently than we view him now. Like he's looked at as maybe like a bottom end starter rather than a backup.
I don't think he's as good as Ryan Tannehill. I think Ryan Tannehill had very efficient seasons, top 10 level quarterback efficient seasons. Never thought he ranked that highly, but that's how efficient he was. Yeah. And I think that the Titans had an efficient part of their offense with Derrick Henry that you were able to lean on. I don't think the Colts, even with Jonathan Taylor, they're not able to lean on the run game like Tannehill was able to lean on Derrick Henry in Tennessee. And also, I'm not that high on Daniel Jones. But I think overall, like the offense for the Colts, I don't know how high I am on the offensive line, quite frankly. You lose Will Fries. You lose Ryan Kelly, the center. Both of them went to the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. Right now, they're in a development stage.
It's that left sideline, Bernard Raymond and Quinn Nelson.
Bernard Raymond, I think, is really good. I think Quinn Nelson is still really good. I think Braden Smith is still really good. Yeah. The center and then the left guard position, really, because Quinn Nelson plays on the right side, right guard. So the left guard and the center, right now, they're making all developmental players to get those spots and earn them. But I feel like even the Colts offensive line, like they were very susceptible to pressure last year. And I didn't think it was this elite unit that gave AR a lot of time. Because I thought when AR was actually in a clean pocket, he played pretty well.
Yeah. We got 25, man.
So 25, we're going to do that after I name these slot players because Josh Downs led the NFL in slot percentage at 84.5. How many of these slot players are better than Josh Downs? Number 1, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra's better.
Okay, number 2, has played in the slot more so the past couple of seasons, CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee.
You're not thinking about a riff?
Not thinking about that.
No. Now, CeeDee Lamb's better. Okay, now we get into the tough ones. When healthy, Christian Kirk.
Right now, Josh Downs.
I would also go to Josh Downs.
Christian Kirk's been
at this point
too banged up.
Khalil Shakir.
That's close. I think I slightly ranked Downs.
Slightly go with Downs, but Shakir is also one of the best.
His ability to break tackles,
you can't go wrong
in space. You can't tackle him. I'll go Shakir, man. I'm going hometown.
Next name up, JSN.
JSN. Yeah, gives you a little bit more, I think, juice overall.
Lad McConkey.
Lad, comfortably.
Jaden Reed.
Josh Downs.
Jaden Reed's really good, but Josh Downs is better. I want to correct myself. Khalil Shakir's one of my guys. I can't go against him. I gotta take Khalil.
Jaden Reed just doesn't get used. Like, you know what I mean? Like he isn't a focal point in an offense that needs a focal point. I'd go with Josh Downs.
I'd go with Josh Downs over Jaden Reed as well. I just think Josh Downs, most of these guys outside of Amon-Ra, Lad, CD, the ones I mentioned, JSN, I think he's a better route runner than all of the other guys. He's just so consistent. I think he is the Colts' best wide receiver. And this is the last name I'll mention, Chris Godwin.
Give me Josh off the injury.
I don't know what Godwin's going to look like.
Yeah, pre-injury, I'm going Godwin.
Yeah.
Facts, comfortably.
19 broken tackles last year with Josh Downs. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Out of the NFL.
Small guy, too.
So now on to number 25, and this is going to wrap up our worst teams in the NFL, going from 32 to 25.
We like a couple of these teams.
The New England Patriots.
I had them higher.
One spot, right?
I haven't done 25 to
Patriots weren't in my bottom 8 either. They were able to.
Yeah, these are your guys.
So the Patriots are here because of me and Riff.
I had the Dolphins at 25.
I feel like to explain that, I think me and Joel are probably on the same page.
If Tua's healthy, I don't think they're worse than the Patriots.
Yeah, I think if Tua's healthy, you get Reek back, you get Waddle back healthy. I think this offense has a higher floor than the Patriots offense.
Their offensive line terrifies me.
It is, but I think they can get the ball out quick, and they got Reek and they got Waddle who can make plays in the field, in open field. New England, I don't like their wide receiver room more than I like the Dolphins. Drake May, I do think, is going to scale out and be better than Tua. Obviously, that's no question. But I feel like Tua is just a little bit more safer with that team. We know the floor he is when this team is healthy and when they're playing. Yeah, that's really much it, honestly. New England is just a lot of projecting, I feel like.
Yeah, so that's an interesting point. Although New England was my 25th team, they were the last team. I cut them in favor of the Dolphins to be at 24. I'm very optimistic on the Patriots. This 25th ranking is not grim ranking. It's not like the Saints at 32 where I'm like, yeah, I don't like this team at all. I like the Patriots.
See them making the playoffs.
I could see them being in the hunt. I think the playoffs is a bit too rich, because the defense, I like the additions. I like the secondary. The defensive line basically is adding Milton Williams and Christian Barmore because he was not healthy last year. Harold Landry's still good against the run, not a good pass rusher anymore. Robert Spillane, I like him a lot too. He plays with a sense of toughness that I think fits this culture and the identity that Mike Vrabel wants to lean into. It's the offense. That's what it is. And I think a successful season for the Patriots is, number one, Drake May takes a step up. I think the fact that Drake May was able to play well in a very terrible situation, one of the worst run blocking and pass blocking situations in the NFL, is a huge positive sign that he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. But the number one question mark and what they need to have this season be a success goes hand in hand with Drake May's improvement. It's somebody has to become the guy at receiver, or at least a reliable option. Whether it's Stephon Diggs, not the most ideal because he's older and he can drop off at any moment. I think it has to be Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams against man coverage in college was second in yards per route run. He faced it over 50% of the time. I think Kyle Williams has some serious juice to be a breakout wide receiver from this class, and he was drafted later. I think he's going to be really good, but that's a successful season for the Patriots. It's Drake May taking a step, but one of those young receivers, whether it is Demario Douglas or Jalen Polk,
Tayshaun,
Javon, I think Javon Baker it is a Kyle Williams. They have to take a step up.
Absolutely. I'm a little more optimistic on New England. Their floor is what gives me a lot of hope and optimism, because defensively, I feel like this will be a top 10 unit. On the offensive side, I love the Travion Henderson pick, getting yourself a great run blocker as well as his offensive line. Hopefully takes a step forward this year, but I guess I also found myself a little more optimistic with Josh McDaniels coming as the offensive coordinator. And you have Stephon Diggs, who before getting injured last year was still a very productive player for the Texans. And I feel like getting him as number one, it can be something maybe Adam Thielen and Carolina just to hold you over. And then on top of that, I like the Kyle Williams shot to give you that deep threat. And then I think Pop Douglas as a slot weapon, kind of someone that adds an extra layer underneath. That to me is what gives me the feeling that Drake May this year will be a lot more efficient, and hopefully he'll be a lot better protected. So
yeah, I think when you just talk about New England and Miami, because they'd probably back-to-back New England. I don't know if they're much higher than 24, but maybe they sneak up to 22, 21. Okay. I definitely think New England's defense is better than Miami's. I feel pretty confident about that. Look at the coaching staff. I trust Mike Vrabel more than I do Mike McDaniel so far through his career. It just comes down to the offense. And I feel like what we've seen throughout Tua's career, Mike McDaniel's career, really their marriage together, is that September and October, I know it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be sexy. This team's going to have games where they have 500 total, yards and 5 touchdowns and go nuts. But as the season goes on, as the weather turns, as they play tougher competition, we know what's going to happen to Miami. So when I look as a power ranking, just talent for talent, of course you're going to take Tua over Drake May. You're going to trust and take the receivers over what New England has right now. But I just feel like that's not a recipe for success with Miami. We have seen now for multiple years, you're not going to be able to just out-offense everybody. Like this team, this offense is not good enough. Like it has gotten figured out throughout the years. And one of the biggest pieces they just let go of was Jonnu Smith, who last year, when you see so much of this cover two, is able to really eat up the middle of the field. Going from Jonnu Smith to Darren Waller, that's one of the biggest downgrades you're going to have, because Darren Waller was at the end in New York, not able to stay healthy and not good. Now he hasn't played football for a year. I'm not expecting him to come back and have anything more than 300, 400 receiving yards. So it's a big part of the offense that's just getting snatched right up. I still think Tyreek Hill is one of the elite wide receivers. He's in my top 10. He's not in the top 2 or 3 like he was the previous year, but I don't think Tyreek has shown anything to warrant him not being still an elite guy. Like he still moves different. He's still faster than everybody. It's just getting on the same page with Tua. And Jalen Waddle feels like one of the biggest question marks in the NFL for me, because I feel like after those first couple of seasons, he was on a trajectory to be a top 10 receiver pretty comfortably. The way he was able to get in and out of his routes, he moved different too, not to the extent of Tyreek Hill, but having that, 4.2 speed while being a great route runner, having solid hands and being good after the catch. His last couple of seasons, though, he's been banged up due to injury. He's never been able to find this rhythm. So he feels like just one of the biggest question marks, period. But I do think it's going to come down to this offensive line. They lose Teron Armstead, and you bring in James Daniels, right, who missed a majority of last season. This offensive line has the potential to be one of the worst in the NFL. And what we pair that with Tua, and I know it's an offense that's going to get the ball out quick. You're going to see HN in the passing game a ton. But man, that offensive line is going to be so bad. At least projecting it's going to be bad, that I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome that.
I just think that the question marks that we have about the Dolphins is whether or not they can win meaningful games, but never if they can beat those teams that they are favored to beat. They always do. The Patriots, I have question marks about if they can beat anybody.
I think they're going to be some teams.
I think they're going to be better
last year.
But the Dolphins, when Tua is healthy, they win games. They don't win the meaningful ones, but they win games.
I get that. When Mike Vrabel came into Tennessee, we saw that team immediately kind of defensively kind of get a lot tougher. And I feel like with all the additions they made, Carlton Davis, we didn't mention, there's not really a hole in that New England defense.
Yeah.
And that
their floor feels safe.
That to me is why I'm so optimistic that they're going to be a team that every single week, a lot like the Giants, but it's almost like a little bit more complete. You kind of trust this New England defense a little bit more. And then also...
Sorry, John.
You're good.
I trust the Dolphins' offense more than the Patriots'
I feel like you guys are banking on New
that.
England's ceiling more than their floor. And I
think
their
with
ceiling
Vrabel,
is higher than...
I think with Vrabel, your floor feels like... It's not 3 wins, it's like 6.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the Dolphins' floor. 6.
Yeah, but
so I feel like that's why you guys are banking
I don't
on
think
this,
it's close.
Because they're in the same tier.
They both feel like
New England has a higher
teams.
ceiling than Miami, which is I agree. Like New England has a higher ceiling.
I don't think you can have as much question marks as you have about the Dolphins and have no question marks about the Patriots' offensive line.
No, I have questions
because Will Campbell, he's a rookie still. Yeah. I think he's one of the more pro-ready guys.
He'd be the best offensive lineman the Dolphins have.
Yeah.
He's a rookie still. And then right tackle, Morgan Moses, who was solid, but he's older. And you don't know if he's going to last the entire season. Then Michael Wenu, Cole Strange, Garrett Bradbury. Garrett Bradbury is not a good player. The Patriots offensive line ranked 32nd in pass block win rate this past season.
I guess there's more faith in Drake May handling pressure and also taking more hits than Tua. If Tua misses time, it's like the Dolphins aren't going to be able to keep without him.
Well, sorry to correct myself, but 31st in pass block win rate, 32nd in run block win rate. The Patriots very well had a bottom barrel offensive line. I think they made additions to improve the floor of the unit overall. But I have major question marks about if the Patriots offense is going to be good. I don't know. I don't know what
serviceables we're hoping for.
Like the ceiling of it is maybe like they rank 19th in the NFL.
I don't think that's
like
off.
The ceiling. Like the floor is like they could once again be one of the worst offenses in the NFL.
You have a top 10 defense and your offense is maybe like 24th. That to me is an 8 to 9 win team. And also with the Dolphins, I believe why I'm so low on them is they don't have any outside corners. That with their offense line, there's so many glaring and gaping holes in that team. Really, you're banking on Tua to play 17 games if you think they're going to win more than the Patriots. That's the way I look at it.
They're backup now, John. They got Zach.
Yeah, they also got Patrick Paul too at left tackle.
They got Zach.
Yeah.
But with the Dolphins, I think, they basically interchanged Ramsey with Minka. So last year, they didn't really have no safeties. Javon Holland had a down year, and then Ramsey was there. I think that their defense, it's definitely in a transition period, but I think their front seven is one of the best in football, especially when healthy. I think their front seven with Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Jordan Brooks is a Pro Bowl level linebacker. Their front seven is fine. That secondary is a problem, but their defense coordinator, Anthony Weaver, really got the best out of that defense last year.
Yeah, for sure.
So, for me, I do think they're in the same tier. I like the Patriots ceiling a lot. We talked about Trayvon Henderson a little bit. Trayvon Henderson, I think, is like the wild card to, if it's not a receiver breaking out for the Patriots, I think it's him. And I think he has probably the best outlook because I think he should get more touches than Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah. And if he can turn into somebody that you can rely on the run game, we know McDaniels is going to bring in a play-action heavy system. Last year, they weren't able to run a lot of play action because Drake May turned his back to the defense and was often getting hit on those plays. So they had to limit those. But if they can at least be okay in a run game, you can sprinkle in more play action and you can sprinkle in more easy completions for Drake May. So I think Trayvon is going to be a huge part of their success.
Yeah, I'm not sold on really any of the receivers breaking out. I think Kyle Williams has like a chance. I think all of them have about of an equal chance to do it. I think Stephon Diggs has the inside track, but he's still coming off an injury. Don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. In the limited time they had together, Demario Douglas was the one getting the most targets, just being that slot receiver. He could, win routes quick and just get the ball to Drake May's hands. But TreVeyon Henderson is the guy on this offense that could become a superstar, right? Like, even if we think Kyle Williams could break out, these guys could be the team's number one. TreVeyon Henderson is the piece I'm looking at saying,
difference maker.
This is a guy that you can build an offense around. Like, we've seen the explosiveness at Ohio State. He has the ability to not only rush the ball, but also be a great receiver and a great blocker. He has that 3-down skill set. And Ramondre Stevenson, his biggest issue throughout his career has been a fumbling issue. And it wasn't sliding. Last year, he ended up getting benched in the first half of a game. You know, Vrabel, if you put the ball on the floor, he's not going to be someone that's going to continue to trust you, even if it's just a rookie behind you. So I'm most excited to see Henderson in this offense. See how Josh McDaniels can utilize him because he's their best offensive weapon.
TreVeyon, 0 fumbles and 667 touches.
He was a dog last year.
And 7.6 yards per touch, the best in the rookie draft class.
He wasn't the workhorse for Ohio State, though. It was Junkins.
Yeah. Good, because he got injured. And then he was on pace to be a first-round running back. He got hurt, and I like that they managed his workload more. So now, everybody get ready. Get your lists out. Get your worst 8 teams in the NFL. We're going to just list them out real quick. So the worst teams in the NFL next season will be the New Orleans Saints. I have them at 32. The Cleveland Browns at 31. The Tennessee Titans at 30. The New York Jets at 29. The Carolina Panthers at 28. At 27, the New York Giants. 26, the Indianapolis Colts. And 25, I don't feel great about it because I think their ceiling is high.
You're not on the train.
The New England Patriots.
Nah, you're dead.
He's been teetering the line. I like it, though. You know,
25.
It's slow for me.
You have the Patriots at 25?
I do.
So how do we average out? Oh, no, we picked. Sorry.
Playoff bubble, maybe.
That's on me. So these are my teams. 32 the Saints, 31 the Titans, 30 the Browns, 29 the Panthers, 28 the Jets, 27 the Giants, 26 the Patriots, and 25 the Miami Dolphins.
My bottom 3 is really similar. 32, I've got New Orleans Saints. 31, I have the Tennessee Titans. Number 30, I have the Cleveland Browns. Number 29, I have the Jets, followed by the Giants. And number 28, Mr. Dallas didn't like the Jets 29. I can tell. Number 27, I have the Carolina Panthers. Number 26, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And sliding up right above them is divisional opponent, the Indianapolis Colts, number 25.
That's a 29 is disrespectful. At 32, I have the Saints, the only team I have no faith in this year. Titans at 31, Panthers at 30, Browns at 29, Giants at 28, New York Football Jets at 27.
There you go.
Don't look now. This could be an 8-win team. Colts at 26, Dolphins 25.
So what's the fan base that's gonna come in here like, you guys have our team too low? We should be like the 20.
I could definitely see Panthers fans. Saying that.
I could see Patriots fans getting tight. Like, we're a
The
top 10 team.
Panthers are at the top of the list, I think, because of the Bryce Young breakout, Ted McMillan, stuff like that, defensive additions. I think the Patriots, too. People are going to be shocked that the Patriots are at 25.
Not on mine.
The Patriots, they escaped the bottom 8 for me. They're not there.
So now, next week, tune in because we're doing a 4-part series where we're revealing 8 teams each. The worst teams, in the hunt teams, the playoff lock teams, and then the best 8 will be the contenders that we have in the NFL. These were the first batch of 8 teams. So now we're going to get into wide receivers. And each show that we reveal our next 8 teams, we will do a position group ranking. So this one starts off with wide receivers, maybe next week.
Tackles and shit.
Or no, wide receiver, running back, quarterbacks.
Tackles
you know,
will be fun.
the ones
John is
that
ready.
are easier.
John wants to do his top.
John's on his
defensive line.
He was on the plane 5 hours every position, 25 ranks.
I did rank yours.
Yeah, he's ready.
So-
John is ready.
This one is going to be wide receivers. The top 10 wide receivers in football. Now, John, you've been working on your list for a while now. Let me hear that list of yours.
So my
10 to
list,
1.
We was
10 to 1.
We was uncomfortable on that plane. He was locked the fuck in.
Yeah.
Man.
You guys were tight.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
we
tight.
were
So
Spirit?
tight.
Riv was
No,
offering some
JetBlue.
Oh, wow.
feedback. JetBlue, yep.
They didn't have any
Um,
JetBlue when I went.
Yeah, man.
No, the first time going there wasn't bad.
The trip
Second
arriving was comfy.
Yes.
The departing or whatever you get
Yeah.
back to New York, that was the most uncomfortable experience.
I felt
I've
some
had.
sort of disrespect when Dell's assumed Spirit.
He did say.
No, because when we went to Vegas, it was only Spirit flights.
Facts. I think the Vegas
Listen,
price at that time.
I don't hate on Spirit. Sometimes you just gotta go.
You gotta go. You gotta get it how you get it. Now
Yeah, do what
me
you
and
gotta
John
The
was right
first
next to each
JetBlue
other.
plane we went on was very comfortable. It was cozy, and then it was nice. The second one, it was a tight fit.
It was tough.
My body was aching.
Me and John
Now
was next to each
on
other.
my
like this.
wide receiver ranking.
And the lore behind this list is that you were working on this on the plane.
Yeah,
Since
I have
Vegas, since
refined
going
some,
there.
I have refined some since, but this is my
Trimmed
official.
off the fat.
Yeah, trimmed off the
That's
fat.
skinny.
Yep. Number 10, Mike Evans. Number
Too
9,
much respect.
Malik Neighbors.
Mm.
Number 8, Tyreek Hill. Number 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm.
Number 6, Nico Collins. Number 5, Puka Nacua. Number 4, AJ Brown. Number 3, CeeDee Lamb. 2, Jamar Chase. Number 1 was Justin Jefferson.
I think
like his list.
I think we all have the same top 6.
We
Am I
don't.
correct?
Top 7, top 6.
We don't.
It should
yes,
be the
yes,
same
yes.
top 6.
Yes.
I mean, it depends. It depends on where you got slot Tyreek Hill. I think that's the wild card in it. You know, my list, number 10, I got Terry McLaurin coming off an all-pro season, double-digit
You did not have him
touchdowns.
at 10.
The
Stop.
most
I see how you
reliable,
tried to lie just
one
now.
of the
No,
most
he's not
reliable
number
receivers in the NFL. Terry McLaurin is number 10 for me. Number
13
9
tutties last year, Dels.
is Mike
Is he really
Evans.
10?
Yes,
Mike Evans is number 9. He was very
you had his
productive.
on rookies on it. That's what it was.
Mike Evans, the most reliable receiver in NFL
Look
history.
at me dead in the face and say Mike Evans and Terry McLaurin are better than Brian Thomas Jr.
Mike Evans, one game to win it all. Give me Mike Evans.
Stop.
It's a
Give me
good
Mike
thing
Evans.
it's 17
Give me
games in
Mike
the
Evans.
season.
You know, I think the thing is, I'm very fond of the rookies. I think the rookies have a lot of potential and they showcase and flash all pro potential. The reason I didn't have rookies is because I wanted to give the vets some shine, players who've been doing it for multiple seasons. But also between Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Lad McConkey, you look at all the advanced metrics. You look at the success rates against man, zone, and press coverage. Lad McConkey had them beat in all of those.
And you still wouldn't take Lad over neither one of them.
The Lad McConkey, I mean, I think it's a legitimate argument. I think Brian Thomas Jr. has more potential. I've said on record that I think he will be the best wide receiver in this class. Malik Neighbors is just an athletic freak who's just a bolt of lightning, but his route running could be refined. Between Lad and Malik's route running, I think Lad right now is a better route runner than him. And then the other honorable mentions I had, because I think there are legitimately 10 wide receivers that with a great year can rank with the 7th to 10th range. Like, I think they're top 10 caliber receivers. BTJ, Neighbors, Lad, Drake London, Garrett Wilson. I also had Smitty, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore. I think that these guys are very good, and that list like goes on to 20, which is impressive, and it just showcases how much receiver talent is in the league right now. Mike Evans is number 8.
I don't hate those names.
Number 8 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just think multiple-time All-Pro. You always know he's going to produce, but the guys I had ahead of him are not only outproduced him this past season, but I think that also maybe they had seasons where they outproduced them, or I still believe in their talents and the way they make defensive play callers change the game plan up. So 7 is Nico Collins. Playing on the outside, 6'4", runs a 4.4, can run any route on a route tree, has insane hands. I just think he's much more talented than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 6 is Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill, his production has dipped, but it is mainly because the Dolphins went from an explosive big play offense to a dink and dunk offense and still were successful. But Tyreek Hill, with the way that defenses game plan for him, you see that defense coordinators still have the utmost respect for Tyreek like he is an elite guy. So although the numbers may not back that, the 2 years before this past season, he did put up elite production. And this past season, the way that defenses covered the Dolphins offense, you would still think that he was putting up that same type of production because the respect factor that defenses have for him. Number 5 is CeeDee Lamb. Number 4 is Puka Nacua. Number 3 is AJ Brown. Number 2, Jamar Chase. And number 1, I still have Justin Jefferson, although Jamar Chase won't Triple Crown.
What you got, Roof?
I don't hate the Reek placement. I really don't. I respected Reek for the most part on my list. I didn't put no rookies over him because I feel like Reek is a different tier than the other guys that you mentioned where I wouldn't put a rookie over him. Like, Reek, you got to show me that you can't do it no more. But for me, number 10, I got Amon-Ra. I just think he's probably the least physically imposing guy in my top 10. You know, he's a little bit shorter than these guys. A little less explosive, but he can do every route in the intermediate route tree. Like, he's really surgical in that department. Number 9 is Malik Neighbors. Number 8 is BTJ. Like Dow's, I'm just super, super high on what these guys can do. I think their ability is unmatched. These are 2 young rookies that came into the league and pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. Number 7 is where I have Tyreek. Number 6 is Puka for me. Number 5 is Nico. I just think Nico is a much more physically imposing guy than Puka. Can also make every route in the tree. Deep threat, short, whatever you want to do with hands is ridiculous. Number 4, I have CeeDee Lamb. Number 3, I have AJ Brown. The difference for me with them two is physicality. The way AJ Brown can just get off the line, he can do it in the slot, on the outside. He can do it really any way. He's just more dominant to me. Number 2, Jamar Chase, and then of course the King Jet is at 1.
I have a similar list to yours, right? I think we might have the same 10 players, just in a different order. I respect you guys for putting Tyreek in your top 6, top 5. I had him at 10. Looking back, could be a little bit low. Could be a little bit low. Like I said when we talk about the Dolphins, Tyreek hasn't shown me any reason to think that he's fallen off. But I also look at just, he's 31 years old at this point. When I look at all of these receivers over him are just right in the beginning, really outside maybe AJ, of their prime and just starting to enter their prime. So I look forward to this season. It's like, who do I trust more, Tyreek Hill or some of these guys? I'm not mad you're taking Tyreek. I just had a few names over him. 9, Amon-Ra. I think the 8 guys above him. I think when it comes to who do you trust the most, Amon-Ra might be number 1, just in terms of hands. He plays through every injury. I also think, no discredit to him, he's in a situation where he is built to succeed, and he has taken that by the horns. I also think the 8 guys in front of him would be able to do just as good of a job. Where I have 8 Malik Neighbors, 7 Brian Thomas Jr. I think they're close. I think Brian Thomas is just a more complete receiver at this time. 6 Nico, 5 Puka. Again, those two are super, super close to me. I think Puka has just shown when he's been able to stay on the field, he's been one of the most productive receivers in the NFL, period. Just being able to stay healthy, even going back to college. CD and AJ Brown, 4 and 3. Chase and Jettis. If really all of these 1, 2, it's the tiebreaker, because I feel like Jettis and Chase feel like they're in a tier of their own.
Yep.
I feel like AJ and CD a tier of their own. Puka and Nico a tier of their own. Like, they're all close to each other, but I all feel like those groups of 2 belong on top of each other for the top.
I'd argue it's probably for me like Jet and Chase, and then like tier 2 is like AJ, CD, Puka, Nico, Reek for me. Like, I would have those.
We're
5.
sleeping on Monroe. He belongs in that category.
I think he's in tier 3. I just don't think he's as good as those guys. And that's like, with all due respect to Amon-Ra, I think he's a great player.
Okay.
I think there's a slight difference between him and guys like Nico Collins. Like maybe I'm tripping a little bit too much with Puka and Nico, but I feel like I'm not. But I feel like AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, I think they're a tier above Amon-Ra.
Before Nico got hurt last year, the first 5 games,
he was the best receiver.
I would say that Amon-Ra St. Brown is firmly in the same tier as Tyreek Hill at this point in time. You want to have Tyreek above him, I understand that. But that being said, Amon-Ra St. Brown, year by year, and you make a great point with Ben Johnson's offense, just how much they will maximize their weapons with Ben Johnson gone. Maybe Amon-Ra does see a efficiency hit per se. But there's something to be said for a receiver that's as dominant as he's been in the slot. He may not be as versatile as a guy like Puka Nacua necessarily, and that's why I do have Puka slightly above him. But in what he does at such an elite level, I feel that, especially looking at the production, it's really hard for me to have him anywhere lower than 7.
I have Puka so high because I know, Puka was top 3 in yards per route run. He was number 1 in that stat. And then in terms of receiving yards per game, he ranked in the top 3 when he's healthy, because when he was on pace to shatter his rookie record and surpass that production, but it's just those injuries caught up to him. But Amon-Ra is an awesome player. I got no disrespect towards him. I'm just interested in how you guys have Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors in your top 10 stamped, but there's no Lad.
Wait, they're not stamped.
They're in your top 10, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say stamped. Like, they can move out. Like, I feel like we just said maybe 5 minutes ago that only the first 7 are like locked.
Because I think, after the rookie year, you're willing to put them over guys who have produced for a longer period of time.
Well, Malik Neighbors did it with, I don't even remember.
Both of them.
Malik Neighbors did it with the worst quarterback play. He also did it on like 180 targets.
Well, I would assume he has
they had
to
a
get that
underneath in his defense.
Yeah, I know, but
he's getting no deep shots. He's getting no accurate quarterback play.
I agree. They should 100 receptions. I think 1,200 yards. He was amazing. Brian Thomas Jr. I legitimately think that if Trevor Lawrence was more accurate on some of his deep passes, he could have finished with like maybe 1,400. He was that good. Yeah. I just look at Ladd McConkey, and I think Ladd McConkey was just as good as all those guys. He averaged 6.8 targets per game, which is on par with Devontae Smith, who Devontae Smith is the you could say the third offensive option in the Eagles offense. Lad McConkey, that's how much he got targeted per game, the same as a third option on an offense, and he still was efficient. He had a 180-yard playoff game. So, like, I just think he's shown a lot of highs, and I think Malik Neighbors.
Did go turbo in that game.
It's nothing I can do about
You
that.
can't say Quinyon Ring and then he could bring up Lad's playoff.
No,
game.
I was fucked there because I can't bring up nothing for the other two in the playoffs.
And I think, with Malik, the difference between him and BTJ, I understand, because BTJ is like 6'4". He has those physical tools over him. Malik is more compact than Lad. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. Lad is 6 foot, 185. So those 15 pounds of muscles, you could definitely notice it with Malik and Lad. But in terms of their height, they're similar. I think Malik is a more explosive player. There's no doubt. But Lad is also an elite level athlete who I think right now is a better route runner. So, like, do you think, is Lad just outside your top 10?
He would have been top 12 for me. I probably would have had Garrett and Lad in my, round out my top 12. You can make the argument for it. I think the only thing stopping me, I don't think it's even a knock on Lad. It's just he did it for half a season. I think Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors really from week 1. I mean, week 2, Brian Thomas had 95 yards. They showed throughout the whole season on top of having terrible quarterback play. I think these guys are always going to be grouped together. Yeah. But the explosiveness you have seen so far with Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors puts them slightly ahead of Lad to me.
I felt like 9 to 13, 14 was clustered, where my first honorable mentions were Drake London and BTJ. And on a year-by-year basis, I'm sure the opinions and the perception of each player will slightly sway. That being said, Malik Neighbors was the one I did at my top 10. I feel like that's the guy that I'm most confident in long-term. There's a little bit of projection baked into that. I won't lie to you. But I felt like with BTJ, you are right to assume that him and Malik Neighbors are going to be, for the rest of their careers, probably tightly connected the same way that some of those guys in the 2021 wide receivers.
Hopefully Marv can get back in this combo, man. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, at least, the outside looking in. Because right now he's
I'll probably have Lad
still the first quarter, Del.
For sure.
Probably like 13, 12.
So let me ask y'all this, because I think it's the most interesting debate within the top 10 and the player who's just outside the top 10. Well, he is in all your top 10s, but he's in outside of my top 10. Even though I wish I could put multiple players in my top 10, but some guys got to get left out.
Only 10 spots.
So, yes, you're right. So you have to be very selective. And if there was one year I got to show respect to Terry McLaurin, it's this goddamn year. Because you never shown respect to Terry.
Is he going to lace him up this year? I mean, he's in this contract thing. He's talking about holding in, holding out.
Come to Philly.
Coming to Philly's crazy.
You don't deserve him, man. With all the shit you talk about.
Come to the Jets.
Does he deserve a ring?
We'll throw him a fourth.
Enough
third round pick.
Enough of that, man.
I'm saying, does he deserve a ring? I'm asking you.
He's good.
If he deserves a ring, come to Philly.
I think I seen this tweet. They said that Terry McLaurin's contract situation is the one time that the entire fan base is on the side of the athlete getting paid their money.
I wonder, have you seen how much he wants? I haven't seen a number.
I would probably assume maybe $30 million.
Okay.
That's the top wide receiver money right now.
And they're not paying
Garrett
him
just got 30. Yeah, Garrett just got 30 and change.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd assume.
If he wants to get paid as the highest receiver in the NFL, nah, we're not doing that. With all due respect.
He wouldn't be though. He's at 30, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he gets
in the top 5 to 10.
He's getting top 5 money.
He probably want more than what Garrett got. He's probably want DK too. The DK
I think
contract is fucking nuts.
It's rich.
I think that's why Terry's like, nah, if DK got that.
Which I don't blame him.
Yeah, he got to get some of that.
Yeah.
So the interesting debate I want to get into is that long-term, which wide receiver are you taking? Brian Thomas Jr. or Nico Collins?
Ooh.
They're like, genuinely, like, in my view, they're the same guy. Like, legitimately big, strong, explosive, fast. Hands are ridiculous. The physicality. They're like, them two and like A.J. Brown are like that type of physically imposing wide receiver. Nico Collins, missed some time. BTJ only played 1 year. Shit. I'd probably go. Damn. I think I'm going to go BTJ, and it's going to sound like fake crazy because I think he's faster. Like, that's the one.
For a guy 6'4" to be around 4.
That's the one separator. Like, he's fast. Like, he's probably can run right with Tyreek Hill, and he's just as big as Nico Collins, So I think that's the difference.
If you're telling me we're getting a healthy Nico Collins, because he's missed time in each of the last couple of seasons, especially this last year.
2 of the last 3.
When you look at that first 6-game stretch, we could be seeing glimpses of that if he's healthy. I would go with Nico Collins, but if he's not healthy, for that reason, I'm going to go with Brian Thomas Jr.
So, interesting tidbit. Brian Thomas Jr., 40 time, 4.33. Mm-hmm. Nico Collins, 4.43.
Insane.
I believe
close. I can't. I don't know. Nico Collins is better right now, but he's also 4 years older than Brian Thomas. Like, it really took Nico until year 3 to break out. Brian Thomas basically did his rookie year. So I think I would slightly lean BTJ, just that he did it earlier in his career, and he also has the injury history you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's the favorable argument that Brian Thomas Jr. has, is that it didn't take him time to be good right away.
Yeah.
And he produced with Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones.
Yeah.
So even when the quarterback play lessened, he still put up numbers. And you can argue that's when he was his most productive, and he was getting force-fed targets.
He was getting 10-plus targets every single game the last, 4 or 5 weeks.
Like, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is just more refined at a younger age. I probably would go Brian Thomas Jr. too, but Nico Collins I think is better right now. He was on pace to lead the league in receiving yards this year before he got hurt.
Yeah, the pace that he was on before his
probably could have won.
injury
He could have won the receiving title.
was pretty
The
incredible.
receiving yards title.
I think that's an interesting debate. Both AFC South players. Now, same wide receiver thing we're getting into. Top 5 wide receiver duos in the NFL. I think we're probably going to all have the same duos. It's just going to be a difference in list.
I wonder if we will.
My number 5 is CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
Okay.
My number 5 is, it's here, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
My number 5 is Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams.
Okay. We're waiting for John to complete the, here we go.
So the 5th spot for me was tricky. I also went the Dallas Cowboys, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb.
So you think Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams are better than CeeDee and Pickens?
No, I've seen Pickens 4.
Are they better than Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle?
I have him above Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Wow.
Yes.
That's my number 4. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is my number 4.
I think it's close for sure.
Woo.
I think listen, I know maybe I disrespected Amon-Ra, and then the previous one put him 9, to put him 1 spot above Tyreek Hill for what it's worth. I think Jameson Williams, I know he might not be as complete a receiver as Tyreek is as Waddle is right
Not
now.
even close, actually.
But I feel like what he brings as a game breaker is damn near second to none.
He had 1,000 yards on 40 receptions.
Yeah, the way
so
that
you have him really high in your rankings.
The way
he's a
able
top 20
to
receiver to you?
I'd have to list it. I'd probably maybe top 25. But he'd be close to Jalen Waddle. You know?
He had 1,001 yards on 58 receptions.
Yeah,
he's
a real he's someone that you have to game plan against, and I take that into account.
So what's your 4?
It's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
What's your 4?
CeeDee and Pickens.
What's your 4?
My 4 is Minnesota, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
My 4 is Puka and Tay.
Okay.
My 3
Puka
is
and Tay.
A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
3 is Puka and Tay for me.
3 is Jet and Addison.
I didn't have them in my top 5.
They were my top 3.
I feel like Addison, Jet's doing a lot of the work.
So you don't have who's CeeDee and Pickens are not in your top 5 then?
CeeDee and Pickens have not entered my top 5, and I will explain once we finish our list.
Like, I think Justin Jefferson, having a Vikings duo top 5 is fair because of Jefferson. I think Jefferson's carrying a big load in that.
Also, Addison's going to be suspended the first 3 games. I feel like it doesn't count.
Yo, legitimately forgot that, but listen to me. Let me explain.
Not counting that in.
Because Addison is the worst wide receiver 2 amongst all these guys.
Yes, but let me paint a narrative for you. Jet, best receiver on the list.
Number 1.
We got that.
Yeah.
You put CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. There's not an outside world where Jordan Addison is a better receiver than George Pickens by the end of the year. Yeah. There's not an outside world.
For sure.
I think there's certain things right now he does better. I think he's a better route runner. I think he's a little bit more reliable in just terms of being consistent from a game from quarter 1 to quarter 4.
Snap,
I think he's also the perfect complement to Justin Jefferson. I think that's important when we talk about duos because you're the perfect complement to the best wide receiver in football. Kind of like how Pau Gasol was a perfect complement to Kobe Bryant. I feel like that's where I'm at with it. Looking at it as in Jordan Addison's really good.
And Derek Fisher. Is Jordan Addison more Pau Gasol or Derek Fisher?
I promise to God he's not Derek Fisher. So not.
He's more Lamar
Josh
Odom.
Naylor.
Lamar Odom would be cool too, but I think Jordan Addison, he's good, borderline great. I think he does a lot of great things. I think he complements Justin Jefferson well. But the reason why I have him 3 is because they have the best receiver in the world and a guy who complements him at an extremely high rate.
Yeah, so you have him number 3 because it's Justin Jefferson. I
mean, I think
it's not crazy.
Yeah,
it's not crazy. I think collectively we're underrating Jordan Addison.
I don't think he's far off from George Pickens. If I'm being completely honest with you,
I don't think it's super far off, but I think there's a bigger gap between Pickens and Addison than there is between Jefferson and CeeDee.
I think that's compared to your list would probably be wrong. You had CeeDee at 5.
Yeah, I do.
Jet is at 1. I don't think there's a 4-spot gap between Addison and Pickens at all. Actually.
I think there is actually.
No.
Yeah.
No shot.
I think there's a 4-spot gap.
Nah,
Piskins
I
is going to
disagree.
go crazy this season.
I think Addison is too. I didn't before the suspended
So
games.
number 2, I had Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams sneakily could have been a candidate on the top 10 wide receivers list. Still producing at a high level. And the number 1, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I just feel like that is probably should be the consensus best wide receiver duo in the NFL. It just depends on how you feel about AJ and Smitty. Because I think AJ is in that top 3 conversation. I think he's in that tier. I think he's in a Jefferson and Chase tier. I just don't think he's in an offense that gets him the targets that he needs to get.
Yeah.
But he had the streak of most consecutive 100-yard receiving games, and then he kind of just went AWOL.
I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, he was awesome. He was otherworldly. And then really Devontae Smith and T. Higgins are about the same. So,
Right.
That's why the Eagles to me are top 3 stamped.
The top 3 is clear. What I struggled with was 4 and 5 between the
There's a few different
Cowboys
ones.
and the Vikings. But number 3 for me was the Rams with Puka, Devontae Smith. Number 2, I had Philadelphia with AJ Brown.
Thank you for the respect,
Devontae
bro.
Smith.
Putting
And-
fucking duos that haven't played a game together in front of.
Well,
John, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate-
But
I appreciate
I
you.
do feel like Pickens and Lamb is a very underrated connection. Having them at 5, I'm glad they're getting that recognition, but I feel like they can maybe be a little bit higher.
Hey,
once
but
they're playing together.
to your point about the Eagles and stuff, he chose to respect them. I mean, being 3rd on the top 5 wide receiver duos list, they're a super team until it comes time
I didn't
to
even peep. He had the Rams.
rank
I
their
got
players.
Rams at 2.
Yeah, the duo
I
that
do
didn't
got
play a
Rams
game
at
together
2.
yet at 2.
Is that because you have AJ over Puka? You just think Devontae is that
I think
much better than
Devontae is,
Smitty?
I think he's better than Smitty.
I think he's better than Smitty too.
Where do you have Devontae ranked?
He's probably 15.
He's definitely in that top 15.
You have him in
bubble.
the same tier.
Yeah.
That's who?
It's Smitty.
Well, what's the tier? I don't know. I
You
never classified the
you
tier.
just mentioned you just said I have 10 guys that can be 7 to 10 range. You've said Smitty. You said they're all in the same tier.
I completely forgot about Devontae. I didn't write him down.
Well, you would put Tay in that same
Joel's
tier.
defense, that's 10 names to remember.
That is 10 names to
Well, it's
remember.
gotta
BTJ,
respect that.
it's Neighbors, it's Ladd.
Smitty. I mean, Tay.
Yeah. And then, the DJ Moores of the world, they can potentially have another season.
Mhm.
Do you think Smitty's better than DJ Moore?
Right now, yeah.
Is it just because DJ Moore had a down season, or is he just a better receiver than
No,
him?
it's definitely the down season part.
So that's why I think DJ Moore still is just as talented as he was in 2023. He just had a down year. So
I'm with you.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's, like I said, I think there's about 20 to maybe 25 receivers. There's a lot of receivers that could be the number 1 receiving option in an offense. I think that's how talented the receiver position is right now.
I got like I said, Jet Addison at 3, AJ Brown, Smitty obviously at 2, and then Jamar and T at 1. Till the team shows us there's no duo better than the Eagles.
I mean, they got a ring, so that counts
They
for
did
something.
get a ring.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't have
That
that.
puts Quinion over Sauce.
Since they're the only duo with a ring, they're number 1.
Why don't have them one?
You
Have them
should,
2.
yeah.
Oh,
You show him
sorry.
respect.
Yeah. You see how you tried? You didn't cook. Unfortunate.
Why didn't you have the number 1? They have a ring.
Well, the ring thing had nothing to do with why they're 2. Didn't mention the ring once.
So the ring has nothing to do with why they can be 1.
No, because it didn't have nothing to do with why they're 2.
Okay, you didn't add that to your reasoning at all.
I didn't. You
I'm
didn't hear me.
shocked. This is the first time there's Eagles propaganda and it doesn't involve a ring.
Didn't need the ring flex on you guys. No need. Their talent speaks for itself.
Your regular season can flex on me.
Team sport, Riff.
Huh?
Team sport.
Well, if it was
Just saying
if it was a team sport, I was gonna throw a
It's a team
Steelers
sport.
jab, but I decided to not
22
do it.
guys in the field at one time, man.
We have the best 22 guys on the field every time.
More often than not.
Fucking
Enjoy it while
bar.
you got it, bud.
Fucking bars just
I
now.
guess with Howard
They're gonna have
Roseman-
it for a
I guess
while,
with Howard
probably.
Roseman, they'll have it for a very long
2
time.
Super Bowls in 3 years.
Yeah,
bro.
Howard Roseman is the same
especially
prestige in the
especially
NFL.
for Riv when he said, 2 down years for him is enough as a fan to take. He can't take 2
He
down
can't
years.
take that. He'll
Those
just
were
jump ship
those were
immediately after.
Eagles
Yeah.
in the gutter years where he just
John,
could
you've
not
seen
fathom.
the playoffs 10 years in a row.
That's a good thing. I'll take the playoffs
Yeah,
every
fuck,
year.
you don't know what
I'll
down
take
years
that.
either.
I'll take
No
that.
wins.
I'll take that.
Listen.
Hey, I've been through some hard.
Not
work.
every team is poverty like the Jets, bro. Y'all chose that life. You didn't have to.
I welcome it, acknowledge it.
Y'all
and
chose
look
that
forward
life.
to it.
You guys also had the Bengals number 1. I had the Bengals.
Bengals
Yeah,
are number
Bengals
one.
number 1. Yeah, I'd Rams, Eagles, Bengals 3-2.
And when Jamar Chase and T. Higgins played, the Bengals were 8-4 this past season.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, it is.
8-4. That sounds wrong. That seems wrong.
It's not.
Fact.
They both missed a few games.
T. Higgins missed a lot of games.
That just
He did
He
miss
missed
a lot of
5
games,
to be
yeah.
exact.
He did.
There's a
Wait.
lot of
He's as questionable all week.
When
Yeah,
when
it's-
I mean
there's a lot.
when T. Higgins played, they won
Let me see.
games. I mean, the biggest one being against the Broncos, where he went off against
Yeah.
Riley Moss.
because every year T Higgins does have a couple of games they'll miss with something. I do want to mention a couple honorable mentions real quick because the one wide receiver duo that posted 1,000 yards with each
Zay
guy.
Flowers and Rashad Bateman.
They're a good duo.
Okay.
The one receiver duo that both had 1,000 yard receivers for the Lions, they didn't make my list. They're number 6. And I think an underrated duo is Darnell Mooney and Drake London in Atlanta. Darnell Mooney was 8 yards away from them being the other duo to have 1,000 each. And the Dolphins, of course, too.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I would include them, of course. So the Godwin's injury could be, who knows if it's Ibuka this year, then number 2.
I remember we did a top 10 wide receiver duos list. I might have had AJ and Smitty at number 2.
Probably.
I know. Nothing changed since then. I looked it up, actually. That's why I asked you on the porch. Yeah. I asked you because you changed your list. Yeah, not a single game is played. You changed your list.
I just forgot.
Riv has short memory, you know?
Nah, because I just had a feeling. I'm like, wait, AJ and Smitty at 3.
Thank you for holding me accountable. I'll put AJ and Smitty at 2. They'll be on the graphic at 2. I'll make sure of it on Instagram.
You have all the power to make sure.
So did you look up the fact that T. Higgins?
No, it's a fact.
Yeah. They were 8-4 when he played. So if he stays healthy, I think they can.
I didn't really go
into
into depth on what games it was.
Burrow just needs to have 2 top 12 guys and they'll be fine.
Well, I know that he missed if not both the games against the Ravens.
He missed the Eagles game.
He played, I think, in one of the games against the Ravens.
I know he definitely missed one of those. But yeah, they went 8-4 with him, and then without him 1-5. No, 1-4.
Yeah.
1-4 without him.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I remember he didn't play against us, I believe. Yeah, he didn't play against us.
Yeah, so he's a big part of what they do. So now before we get into the final NFL stuff of the show, which is going to be grading uniform changes and just some brief NFL news, we're going to get into NBA stuff. There's 2 things that happened that I think should be talked about. Number 1 is Chris Paul signed with the LA Clippers. Now, they are now rostering a ton of older players that are past their prime, but it is an exciting team that has won 50 games the past 2 seasons. Yep. They're going on their 14th straight winning year. And this is where, like, I understand that they haven't won a championship. So it's like, oh, who cares about 14 years of competence if it hasn't resulted in winning a championship? But if you go back and look at NBA history and you look at how the Clippers were once viewed, they were a laughingstock of an organization. And for them to have currently the longest active streak of consecutive winning seasons and 14 straight winning seasons, which is 4th all time in NBA history, Bradley Beal decided to go to the Clippers on a pay cut. Brook Lopez decided to go there and take less money. Chris Paul is deciding to retire there and have his last season be with the Clippers.
And all the top dogs.
Well, you can't go to New Orleans.
You're right, he can. It has been the Clippers who oftentimes are able to poach veterans off the open market, and they're open to playing there. A big reason why Bradley Beal went to the Clippers is because James Harden told him, you can trust this organization. So although they don't have a championship to show for it, this has been one of the most well-run organizations in basketball for quite some time. And it's all starts with Chris Paul getting traded there and having winning seasons. Steve Ballmer, Blake Griffin. You're right. Like, they are a very good organization. And I have to just acknowledge and appreciate how they have been able to pivot despite not having any picks. They are remaining competitive and making sure they're not just bottoming out every year.
They definitely don't get nearly enough credit for having one of the best owners in Steve Ballmer, one of the best executives in Lawrence Frank, and one of the best coaches in Tyronn Lue. And I love that you mentioned that because from the time they were founded in Buffalo, 1970, the time that Chris Paul was traded there, 2012, they had 0 50-win seasons. When Chris Paul got there, they won 50 games 5 straight years. And the one year they didn't was the lockout-shortened season. They went 40-26 with Vinny Del Negro. And I feel like when you look at what they are now this year, it really does come back to the same old sentiment with the Clippers. What are you getting from Harden and Kawhi? Because this roster is more than good enough. And I felt what they had in the front court, getting John Collins to James Harden is like a perfect fit in the regular season. And then Brook Lopez is your back, a big checks a need. You need a ball handling. You have Chris Paul for 60 games, 15 to 20 minutes a night in the regular season. And then in the games that Kawhi misses, you get yourself a very good shot creator in Bradley Beal. And I kind of joked about it with the flirting versus harassment meme, and it's Bradley Beal for $5 million versus 50, and it's a completely different perception of a player. So I felt like when we talk about all-season winners, they've made all of their moves very quietly, so they don't get the recognition, and I think that's a good thing. They should be kind of a little bit on the kind of down low, and I think these are the types of moves that give them a better chance of going to the conference finals and maybe winning a championship.
Yeah, they're probably the model success for just being a consistent playoff team, and I think that's important. A lot of times, I tell Dells this all the time. It's not always about winning a championship. No. Sometimes you can't get to that big moment, but what you can do is create competitive, good organizational value, and I think making the playoffs. It's another team that's like that before this finals was the Indiana Pacers, a team that was consistently been around, hanging around in the playoffs, making it a ton. And I think for the Clippers, like you mentioned, it started with Blake Griffin. I think that getting that number 1 pick, then Chris Paul, Steve Ballmer, like just bringing in DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, like just continue to build off that success. And now they're in this offseason where, listen, the roster is a little bit old as dirt, I'd say, but they play at one of the slowest paces in the league. So a lot of this is going to fit a lot of the older players that's coming in. Definitely a shout out. And like you mentioned, they don't have their pick, so they have to remain to make these small margin moves to continue to get better, continue to be a competitive team until they find a way to get some form of draft capital back. But this definitely, like you mentioned, John, great offseason. They're going to be one of the 6-7 best teams in the West. Going to be extremely competitive. Come playoff time, we'll see what they do. But in the regular season, I think they'll be really great.
Yeah, I mean, for a team that isn't going to have cap space, you're not going to have a lot of draft picks, it's hard to envision an offseason that could really go better than this. When you're getting, what are they up to, 3-4 impact rotational players, albeit they're, older in the back half of their career, but still, Brook Lopez, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, these are all going to be guys, John Collins, that are going to be key pieces to this team. It's really difficult. I mean, we talk about the second apron so much and all these teams with all these restrictions. The fact that the Clippers were able to, accumulate all of this talent to be part of their depth going forward, they're, 9-10 deep. They're one of the deepest teams in the NBA. And I know the season ended so poorly, but they went 7 games with Denver. That was a series that was right on the brink that they could have taken down the Nuggets. And who knows how, the rest of it goes because it's all matchup based. But it was a team that going into the NBA playoffs felt like this is a chance for, a team that can make some noise. And of course, with them, it's going to come down to health, just like it is for a lot of teams. But you're going into April, and this team is healthy and 100% with Ty Lue at head coach. The home court advantage they have there as well. It's going to be one of the better teams in the West.
You go.
They're like, also these moves help with their lineup rotation. Because I feel like that in the playoffs,
a lot of options.
There's a lot of things that stalled them. They didn't have many options outside of Kawhi and Harden offensively. And I think bringing it in, plus Norman Powell was a stinker, really inconsistent in the playoffs. You bring in guys like Bradley Beal that can do other things outside of Norman Powell. Like he can handle the ball. He can be creative. He can get to his mid-range. He can still get to the rim. He can still shoot the 3-ball. That's something he can get to the free throw line. He's an efficient free throw shooter. That's something that you like, especially a guy who can slow the pace down. Mid-range shooters are guys that are very slow-paced. Their IQ is very high. They love to get to their spots. Bradley Beal can still do that. And he fits right into this offense. Guys like Brook Lopez, he can come in. He can help. He can help just with taking the load off of Zubac. I feel like Zubac had a ton of load in terms of just playing a ton of minutes.
He gets
being in
banged
every
a lot.
action. He gets
all the
banged
rebounds,
defensive rebounding and stuff like that. Brook Lopez can come and do similar things to that. And then you still have your small ball lineups with John Collins, Derrick Jones Jr. Like you still maintain facts. Like he's still in the league. But you still get to maintain your flexibility of you want to go with your old fashioned small ball, you can. But I feel like nowadays NBA is gearing towards that 2 big man or just a big man vibe where you're playing 2 bigs or one really big, and the small ball era is kind of dwindling for sure unless you have like Draymond Green. But outside of that, it's really dwindling. But, for the Clippers, playoff time, what can you do? And I think that's why they don't get the recognition they deserve, because for them it's always going to be about the big move they made with Kawhi and PG, and then getting to the WCF, now getting to the finals, winning the big one. It's always going to be a staple of what they need to do, and their expectation is why they're probably not going to get the credit they deserve.
Well, that's another reason why they're a great organization, is that they were aware enough of when to move on.
Yep.
If they had given Paul George the contract that he was seeking, they cannot make none of the moves that they made.
They have 6 of the rotation players from the decision to not re-sign Paul George to a max contract. And mind you, Paul George won his podcast. It was basically like, I just asked him for the same deal like Kawhi got. And I felt like for as much as he meant to them in that conference finals run, there was a little bit of like a perceived lack of self-awareness there in a very low level, where it's like Kawhi is a clearly better player, even with the injury issues. And meanwhile, the Clippers get Bradley Beal for the mid-level exception, Brooke Lopez, the non-taxpayer level exception. They got John Collins through a trade exception. And then on top of that, you get Derek Jones Jr. last year for the MLE, Nicholas Batum for the biannual exception, and then Chris Dunn last year they got via a sign and trade. And shout out to USC Geisland on Twitter who highlighted that all 6 of those players are valuable rotation pieces for this team, and none of the Clippers right now. They decided to give Paul George the money that he wanted, and we saw him this last year deal with injuries and be nowhere near the same player. So I think that's a great testament to just how good their front office is.
It's just a smart pivot, and the Clippers, I feel like they really struggled in the playoffs with just shooting. There was, especially their bench lineups. I just feel like there was nobody that the defense respected on the outside, and it led to a lot of the offense feeling congested.
Mm-hmm.
But now Harden, Kawhi, Beal, Brooke Lopez, even John Collins can space the floor. Bogdan Bogdanovic, Nick Batum, like they have much more spacing and much more lineup versatility this upcoming year. They just need to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys name me the 3 teams that have went on longer consecutive winning season streaks? The Clippers are 4th all time. Who are the 3 teams? Can you name me them? Who they are?
The Boston Celtics in the 60s to the 70s?
The Celtics are not here.
Spurs.
The Spurs are here with 22 straight seasons from 1998 to 2019.
22 straight?
22 straight winning seasons.
Is it about straight or just seasons?
Yeah,
22 straight seasons. You have to have straight seasons.
I should have thought of that first.
They have to have consecutive winning seasons. So Spurs are number 1 at 22. They're number 1 all time.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the Lakers. The Lakers from the 70s to the early 90s.
The Lakers, number 3 at 16 straight winning seasons from 1977 to 1992.
Yeah.
The Pacers?
Nope.
Not a bad shout, Riv. Not a bad shout. So we got the Spurs, we got the Lakers. I'm surprised the Celtics weren't.
Not the Bulls.
I'm really surprised. 9 championships in 11 seasons, and they didn't make it for this consecutive playoff streak.
Miami Heat?
The Celtics are actually tied. They have 2 times when they were 14. They won 14 straight.
What year were those?
The Celtics 2 times they had 14 straight winning seasons. 1980 to 93 and 1956 to 1969.
Good time to be Celtic fan.
And then the Blazers are also tied with the Clippers with 4th all time from 1990 to 2003, but you're missing number 2.
We're missing number 2.
Was it the Heat?
Not the Heat.
Is it a team we're not expecting?
Yes, it is, because they're bad now.
The Detroit Pistons from...
Not the Pistons.
Really?
I was going to
guess.
Yeah, wouldn't it be the Wizards? Wouldn't it be...
Yeah.
Oh, the Jazz.
Well, I clearly didn't listen.
The Jazz.
It's the Utah Jazz, 19 straight winning seasons from 1986 to 2004.
Basically Stockton and Malone's tenure there.
Yeah.
And the Clippers, 14th all time.
How did I miss that?
So if the Clippers have 2 more straight winning seasons, they'll be tied with the Lakers.
Really just said, fuck it.
And I think this year they could get 15. They could get 15 this year.
Yeah.
So.
For sure, they should.
They're closing in on it.
They could do it last year with the start of the season they had. Hell yeah, they could do this.
Let me ask y'all something. Do you guys, when you think of Chris Paul, do you think of the Clippers?
He's the best Clipper of all time, so you're gonna think of half the time.
I think of New Orleans always.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah. That's how
the
I think.
Best version of Chris Paul.
Exactly. I think of him like the best player, New Orleans, but just like
when I was a fan, him, like most excited about him. Like I grew up on that one, so for me it'd be them first. When I think of the Clippers, I think of Blake. Like that's what I think of. Like Blake is what I think of when I think of Clippers.
Chris Paul has played for the Warriors, Spurs, Suns, Clippers, Rockets.
He's played for a good amount of teams. Thunder.
Mm-hmm. He's played for how many teams? He's
bringing up the Warriors first.
Seven teams?
Because I was thinking about just late.
Don't bring that shit up ever. He ain't never played for us.
Okay, Chris Paul has played for New Orleans, OKC when the Hornets were in OKC.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I'm not counting that, but the Clippers, Suns, Rockets, Spurs, OKC, Warriors, and the Hornets. So 7 total teams.
Yeah.
If you had to rank the 7 teams that Chris Paul has played for based on like most successful to least successful tenure, how would you rank it?
New Orleans won.
Number 1 over the Clippers.
Over the Clippers?
Wait, you're saying him or team?
He's talking about the team, not the individual.
Oh.
Both. But he was in his prime with the Clippers, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like
New Orleans was
you talking about individual. He was getting MVP votes.
I would
he was getting steals title, assist title.
Suns would be won 64 games, went to the finals, 2 games, went to the championship. Suns would be 1, even though it was briefer than Clippers.
Because it was consistent.
Hornets at 3 for the peak in 2008 when they won 56 games. 4 would be the Rockets.
Yeah.
I
for
4, you
easily.
might put the Rockets
You could put them up.
even
Well,
higher than
because
the
New Orleans, I
Clippers.
think they didn't make it out.
I
the
mean,
first
him
round.
with the Rockets almost taking down the Warriors.
It's
It was
2
just
seasons.
2 seasons, though.
I would be
They're 3 and 4. It's
understanding if you
interchangeable.
want to have Chris Paul at 3 over the Hornets tenure. But 3 and 4 are going to be Hornets and Rockets. 5 going to be Thunder. 6, I don't know.
Doesn't
6,
really matter.
both
Warriors,
teams missed the playoffs.
7
Warriors.
Spurs.
We didn't make the
Warriors.
playoffs with them.
What year is this again?
We did not make the playoffs.
2023?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't. So 2023.
So you can put either or. It really don't matter.
2024.
I feel like he had
Yeah.
more fun with the Spurs. You can put the Spurs.
Am I
in.
crazy for having Chris Paul Rockets tenure over the Hornets and Clippers?
Over the Clippers,
Oh,
yes, because
yeah,
it was a
yeah.
consistent.
That
year.
Rocket team
You
was
just-
better than the Clipper team.
your love for
so
the
that's
Rockets
I
is
just think
waiting for
that
this
that
right here.
2018 Rockets team is one of the best teams to never win a championship in history.
Yeah, but Chris Paul was so much better on the Clippers than he was in the Rockets.
Yeah.
Like by far.
But in the
And the-
playoffs,
and
he
the
was a
New
closer
Orleans.
for them in moments, and then he closed out Game 5 against Golden State.
You're right. You're not lying.
Yeah,
They almost
I
had him,
understand
man.
that.
Had
But
him
I
on
would
the
have
ropes.
the Suns at 1. I feel like that's
I feel like
successful.
I don't think
tenure.
he'll get it. I look at it as I don't think he'll get his number retired with Houston. I think
No,
the
hell
Clippers
no.
he'll get his retired. So I can't put it over.
Will he get a retire with the Suns?
I don't know. I feel like it would have been New Orleans and it would have been the Clippers. He would have got his number
So
retired.
John gave his list. What would your list be? Would you have the Suns in 1? Because he did.
Nah, I'd have Clippers 1. I'll put
Hornets.
Hornets 2 for me. I'll put Suns 3, Rockets 4. Am I missing?
OKC.
OKC 5, and then the rest of those 2.
So how many playoff series did they win outside of the finals run? Was it just
Suns?
Yeah.
The
They beat
64 win
Denver.
season, they beat the Pelicans in
4.
the first
They won
round. and
4
then
total
lost in
playoff
the-
series.
Yeah,
I'm saying
Pelicans,
outside of the finals.
So there's
Pelicans,
one.
Denver,
Two.
Two.
Against the Clippers.
Denver, Clippers,
In the first
Pelicans.
year.
So 3.
Wait, am I
Outside of the
tripping?
finals run.
Yes,
Right.
Pelicans. They beat the Pelicans.
So they had 3
'Cause he
second
got
round.
No,
hurt and
actually,
came
no.
back.
2023 Suns lost in.
No, he's
I'm
just saying in
blanking.
general.
No, I'm saying outside the
Well, yeah, I'm
finals.
going
runs.
year by year.
It's
Finals
2.
run.
It's 2.
No, it's Pelicans, Denver, Clippers.
They didn't beat Denver outside the finals run.
We're talking about 2023. I'm
Chris Paul
drawing a
did it?
blank on what they did.
They beat them in 2021 in the second round.
Yeah. Yeah.
They made the finals that year.
He's talking about non-2021.
I'm saying, yeah, outside of the one finals
Oh,
run
I'm
he
thinking
had,
he's just talking about not that final series. What
They,
I mean,
they
oh,
won
okay,
2
okay.
series after that finals run. I forget
Hardly
that
me.
first round series versus the Clippers in 2023 because of
Mhm.
all the injuries that Los Angeles had.
Facts.
So they won 2 outside that.
Because
Right,
I'm
right.
thinking with the
and
Suns,
they lost to Denver that year.
Yeah.
yeah, the Suns, the finals run, they won 3 playoff series. The next year they won 1, lost in the second round, embarrassing fashion. Next year,
That was to Dallas.
yeah,
choke.
they lost in the first. They won in the first round against the Clippers. They were unhealthy. That was 5 total playoff series wins. With the Rockets, the conference finals run, they won 2 playoff series. Then they won 1. He won 3 playoff series with the Rockets.
Yeah.
He probably won the most playoff series because of like time frame with the Clippers. But even then, like he never made the conference finals with the Clippers.
Mhm.
So if he only won 4 playoff series with the Clippers, I would not be shocked.
Let's take a look while you're talking and going.
And the Hornets, he probably won maybe like a little bit less than that too.
Mhm.
That's probably right.
Nah, he won 2.
With the Hornets,
Nah, he only won 1, unfortunately. It was
Yeah.
a whopping 25, 11, and 2, though.
The demon.
With the Clippers, he only won, from my math, 3 series. 2012 first round versus the Grizzlies. 2013 they lost in 6 round 1. 2014 lost in the second round. 2015 lost in the second round to the Rockets. So yeah,
so low
3
key with
playoff
the
series won.
Rockets, he won more playoff series with the Rockets than he did with the Clippers,
Doesn't feel
Mhm.
like that.
or at least the same.
It's just
amount.
the
Same
tenure
amount.
was
It's
longer.
3 each.
Yeah, that's exactly why it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the other move was Marcus Smart went to the LA Lakers.
Here we go.
Lake
This
Show.
move things, I mean, my goodness, the Ayton and then Marcus Smart and Laravia.
They're-
Whoa.
There's a lot of
They're
layers.
good.
There's a lot of layers in the Marcus Smart signing because he's their best point of attack defender. Instantly,
still a
and they
great
sorely
defender,
needed
John?
that. But he's played 56 games last 2 years, so the durability component is the biggest key to him getting back to that level. And if he's not healthy, then you can't say that. But there's also another element to that too. For him still being a good defender, there's a layer of like inconsistent shot making, which in Boston he was getting quality looks, and throughout his career he's gotten them. With the Grizzlies though, they acquired him to be that player. They traded 2 first-round picks and moved on from Dylan Brooks to get Marcus Smart in to be that missing piece. And he was far from that with the Grizzlies. He was someone that they were looking to actively get rid of after 1 year. So for that reason, I like the Lakers getting him on a flyer. But to rely on him, given his health and shot making, to me, I think it's a complete wild card. And I'm not
I understand, John. You're making me rethink Marcus Smart to the Lakers. I mean, did he ever have a fair shot with the Grizzlies, though? His first year was injury riddled the entire year with everybody on the team.
The second year he did.
The second year?
Yeah.
Okay, but he dealt with injuries the second year as well. And then he got traded to the Wizards.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the point.
Riv, I mean, after this signing, do you think the Lakers are still off-season losers like you classified them before?
I mean, it depends on what am I supposed to think of Marcus Smart?
He's a good player.
54 games played last 2 years.
It's hard.
He could guard.
The thing is, like,
better than DFS.
No, the thing is, and I think you're being delusional a little bit, and you're missing this part of it.
Luka.
He's played 50 games in 3 seasons, like 52. He's
50
like
in 2
it's
seasons,
he'll stay healthy.
It's tough.
I'll pray every night.
He played 34 this year. Oh wow, 54. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like,
so your pessimism comes from he doesn't stay on the court.
I mean, the last 2 years he's given me nothing.
What if he stays?
And then when he was with Memphis, he was horrible.
When he stays in the court, he's shooting low 30s from 3 on open looks.
That's fine.
Are you hoping he can get back to that Boston year?
Terrible.
I'm just hoping that he could be a good defensive player for the Lakers.
Which is that Boston year.
Which I think
he was
he'll be
D-boy that year. I mean,
no, the year after
23.
Yeah, so even that, like, so you're thinking 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Because I'm looking at the Lakers. I mean, you lose your best defender with DFS, but then you sign Marcus Smart at a value.
How many games is he gonna play?
I'm going over on 50. I think he plays more than. I think he plays more games this year than he's played the previous.
He only got older.
We haven't seen Marcus Smart play like high level important basketball in so long too. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's only got older
season, and it's unfortunate, but yeah.
And we know he can play high level basketball
for sure.
Yeah, we know he can do that. And
he's got that in him.
The biggest hole is DeAndre Ayton, your biggest hole center, and then you get DeAndre Ayton. I mean, my goodness. God bless the buyout market because it's handing out gifts to LA.
There's a reason why some players are bought out. Now, I'm really curious to know what Dells thinks after you go, because I feel like you've watched the most Marcus Smart in these regular season games.
I haven't watched it in the last few years. I haven't been watching much, brother.
Like, John, that's probably at this point it's probably me and you.
If you're talking, because in Memphis the first year he played 10 games, 15 games.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm really asking is, it's not necessarily the quality of a player, but rather the fit and the theory of Marcus Smart in the event he is healthy.
In theory, it fits, because in theory, he's their best perimeter defender. In theory, you hope he shoots 34% from 3 instead of 31% from 3. I do worry, as Marcus Smart has always been, he could just fuck shit up on offense, even though he's far from the best offensive player. He's going to have some possessions and be like, really wish you didn't take that shot. But if he's playing, I don't know, to the level of Marcus Smart, he's catching and shooting. If he's able to play high level defense, he's not going to get back to his DPOY level. But if he's able to play DFS level defense, it's going to be a win for the Lakers, because they don't have perimeter defenders. They don't have defenders, period, if we're being honest.
Is this a great value Alex Caruso to OKC?
Jesus Christ. No. Stop.
I wish you were cooking, man. I really did.
I said great value. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying great. Is it not comparable?
I just hope he plays 50 games.
Caruso is coming off his best season offensively when the Thunder acquired.
Plus, he was like an all-world defender.
Yeah, and also was like one of the 5 best defenders in the sport at minimum.
Like, we're questioning if Marcus Smart is still the level defender. We're not even taking into account offensively.
No. I am not questioning his level of defense. I know he's still one of the best POA defenders.
What are you basing that off?
Because I watched his defense. He still plays at a high level.
20 games he played on the Wizards?
When?
3 years of age, injuries, and
I'm asking you when.
When?
Yeah, when?
For the Wizards.
On the
Wizards?
For the Grizzlies. He played good defense. It's the offense that has kept him off the court in the injuries.
He was not playing elite defense with Memphis.
Yeah. I could see quality defense. Elite for
you're not giving him more than quality.
You want to know why it's tough?
The injury thing's the only thing you question.
3
not
years
his
of
defense.
wear and tear.
I think both.
3 years of wear and tear for a guard that plays as physical as Marcus Smart. A different
Takes
level
a lot of charges
of an on-ball defender. I feel that you have to see it until you can firmly say he's going to be an elite defender.
I have to see that Marcus Smart's going to be a great defender.
I see high level. I feel like compared to what they had previously, his impact will be greater than, say, Gabe Vincent. I will look at him as a better player. But that being said, you have to see the condition and really like the quality of that defensive height, given it's been 3 years.
He's still a smart defensive player.
I'm not in, I'm not in, I'm not out. I want to see it. I'm not in, I'm not out.
You don't lose instincts.
Yes.
It's better than not having
for
Marcus
whatever,
Smart.
$5 million a year, whatever it is, you take that shot every time.
I think it could work out pretty well, but it could also be like
DeAndre
the Grizzlies
and
saw unfruitful, you know?
DeAndre and I'm out.
You're out
Smart.
in.
Hey,
Smart.
the instincts are still there. The IQ is still there. You don't lose that.
I feel like as a help defender, he'll be very good.
Yeah, it's just
On
about
the
if
ball.
he can.
On the ball, why wouldn't he still be good?
If it's the body can hold up.
If
That's
it's just,
really
I
it.
don't want
if
to
he athletically still has it, he physically still has it.
I think that the only question marks are injuries, and I think the injuries that he's had, it's been nothing serious. The level of athleticism that he still has is still comparable to what he had a couple years ago.
It's
Yeah,
not
for a
years.
player that I feel for a player.
Yeah, because he's not
sacrifices
35.
his
He's still in his
turned 32.
20s.
No, he's turned.
He's
32.
what?
He's 32.
What?
Well, he got
Turning
drafted in
32.
2014, right?
Dude, he was 29 with
I was
Memphis.
gonna say, he
What are
is
you
not
saying?
in
He's
his
turning
20s.
32. But yeah, he was a player went
Bro,
through
just
multiple
lied
leagues
his
and all
ass
that.
No,
off.
yeah.
He didn't even try to sneak in 29.
Yeah.
He said
He's
Albeit
a
in
young
March.
31 though.
I don't know
You
what
can
that
say
means.
that, but given how
He
physical
feels like an old
plays,
31,
given
bro.
how physical he plays, Dels,
He
and how
feels
much
like
he
an
lays his
old
body
31,
on, he
John.
feels
Dude,
like his
he's a young
body's
31.
older.
He just turned 31. You said he's
If
about to
he
turn
gets
32
old.
like he didn't just
When
turn
did he turn
31.
32?
He turns 32 in March. This season will be 32.
Oh, he just turned 31.
Both
No.
both of y'all fuck off. That's
No,
both of y'all
no,
off,
hold
bro.
on. I'm
He said he's
saying-
about to turn
He's
32.
closer to
Like
just
it's a
turned
month
31
away.
than he's gonna turn
I'm
32.
saying he'll
He's
be
a young
30
31.
I'm telling you, he's going to be 32 this season. That's what it'll be. In the middle of
He'll
the
be,
season, he'll
but
be
he'll
at
32.
the
be
very
31 for
end.
longer than he'll be 32. To
Well,
be fair,
Yes.
Potentially.
No.
If they
November,
don't do nothing in the
October.
playoffs. They do nothing in the playoffs.
I guess if you play till June though.
Bro, October,
Yeah.
November, December,
enough.
January, February. He'll be
Let me double
31
check
for
it's
5
March.
months.
Let me double check it's March.
It is March.
Yeah.
March,
It is March
April,
6th. Yeah, it's
June.
March 6th.
He's going to be
Yeah.
32 for
Yeah,
3 months
so-
of the season.
There you go. Either way, I feel his body's older than 31.
He feels
years
more
old.
like 34 than 31.
Feels like 33.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Lakers tax, man. You know, these players go there. Y'all think it's not good moves. I mean, they're great moves.
I'll
Great
hit on the Lakers freely. I just also
We both
don't-
thought they're
don't
good
know
moves. We just don't feel like they're.
They don't gotta make moves for me to hate them. I'll hate them no matter
So
what.
what would you grade their offseason after getting Smart, Ayton, and Laravia?
I don't know, man.
C plus.
B plus?
I'm giving that shit like a B minus, C plus. Man.
C plus seems
He
valid.
lost DFS. He's
Like
You
I
got
said,
like you got low key. You got the best that you could have realistically, but it like grand scheme of things, the Lakers is Luka and LeBron. I'm thinking like, are you gonna compete?
So
for a
you
championship?
don't think that the Ayton and Smart additions are not better than just having DFS?
If they re-signed DFS with those existing moves, I would give it.
They
a
couldn't
A.
though.
Should trade Luka.
It was one or the other.
Should trade Austin Reeves.
Get some salary. You know what I mean? Imagine just get some role players around Braun and Reeves. That's
I
what
can't
I'm
believe we're
talking
talking about a dude that's played 50 games
Yeah.
in 3 years. This shit
Are
is
the Lakers
mind-boggling.
better or worse roster wise from last year?
about.
Probably slightly
I think
better.
yes,
Probably
slightly better. Definitely better actually. Definitely better.
I
Because
like that.
DeAndre Ayton's a huge upgrade over Jackson Hayes.
That's really the problem.
He's a
man.
double machine.
He is.
I just feel like if Marcus Smart went anywhere else, he wouldn't be hyping it up.
If he went where potentially, like
Like
The
if he went,
Grizzlies.
If he went to the Wolves, he's gas.
oh yeah, there's certain aspects for sure.
if
Like,
he went to the Rockets, we wouldn't be like, wow, that's really good for the Rockets.
well, yeah, he'll be their 7th best defender. He's not their POA guy.
Yeah,
That's because they got a lot of great defenders.
Yeah,
though.
like
the Lakers have no defenders.
7th best is ridiculously
it was
disrespectful.
obviously hyperbole.
He would be their
clear.
second best perimeter defender.
Okay, that's fine. He wouldn't be the best. That's
Only
my
a
point.
man would be better than
That's
him.
okay. It was exaggeration. It was hyperbole. My point.
That
being,
was extremely disrespectful
my point being, he wouldn't be their best guy on
because
the
they
nights that
have
best.
a man.
That's my point. That's why we're looking at the Lakers like, all right, Marcus Smart, guys played 54 games, 2 seasons. Your top guy. You're relying on him to be healthy all year to be your POA stopper. Huh. And then you have DeAndre Ayton at the rim, protecting the rim all season. Huh.
If the Bucks got
And
him,
then
that
Jake
would have been great.
Laravia, who you lied about him being a good shooter, he wasn't.
He was a good shooter last year. What do you mean?
If the Bucks got him, no one.
What do you mean? Yeah, I don't get it. He shot 38% on threes
many
last
attempts?
year. He made them.
How many attempts?
He want him to miss
How many
them?
attempts? How many attempts?
You can't just say
How
this
many
dude.
attempts?
You can't just say this dude shot poorly, and then I
didn't
tell
say
you
that.
he shot well, and
I
then you're
didn't
like, oh, it doesn't matter because of
Did
the
I say he
attempts.
shot
You
poorly?
just asked for the attempts.
Like,
Okay,
I didn't say
on 2
that.
attempts. So
What does that mean? 2 attempts, 38%. What does that mean? Truly.
So
sometimes he'll make one, sometimes he won't.
Like he could go a week stretch, and we don't know what he did that week.
So what do you want him to do? Shoot poorly with his opportunities?
That's not what I'm saying.
I think what Riv's suggesting is to be a better floor spacer. Would like to see him take more.
We don't know what he is as a floor spacer.
Per 36,
because he's going to be standing in the
I know
corner.
he shot well last year.
He shot well on 2 attempts. That's nothing.
But he still shot well. Did he shoot well or did he not shoot well?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. He only played 20 minutes per game. And so if you were to play a larger role, he's
probably
taking
going to play
45.
So based on your logic, will likely play a little bit more. Based on your logic, how well he shot doesn't matter because of the attempts.
Yes, because it can go up to 4 or 5. He's a below average shooter.
I can't just say it doesn't matter.
It's prone to variance, is what Riv's suggesting.
It's prone to variance, but he shot well.
We can't
look at his percentage and then look at the volume and be like, yeah, he's a good shooter.
Did I say he was fucking Kyle Korver? No, I just said he could shoot well.
I never said that.
He shot well.
I never said you did say that.
Okay, but the Bucks, Marcus Smart would be a good addition for. If he went to the Knicks, it would be a good decision.
Well, the Bucks would be the third best player, so I mean, it's not saying much. You know what I mean?
Well, he would have been a great addition for the Knicks. He would have been a great addition for the Knicks.
The Knicks should be your 9th man, and you have OG Anunoby.
He would have been a great addition for the Cavs.
Depth.
So all these teams, contenders, he would have been a great addition for.
These teams are way closer to a championship than the Lakers.
The Cavaliers are closer to championship than the Lakers.
In the East, yes.
Easily. Actually.
Like, what are we doing?
The Lakers aren't a top 3-4 team in the West.
The Lakers ain't going to get out the second round the way it's looking in the West right now.
They haven't even got the first round.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about?
Losing the Nuggets and
they just got boxed out in the first round.
This was a great addition for the Lakers, and it would have been a great addition for almost any team.
Tell us why it's a great addition.
Because he's a great defender still, and that's what they need.
He's going to be on the floor.
DFS. Yes.
What makes you say
50 games?
Because I think that the injuries are ticky-tack injuries.
But ticky-tack, it can happen
what
again.
What are the injuries that he had?
But he only
so it's just going to magically go away?
The injuries he had are not serious, dude.
But it's going to magically go away.
Do you not feel the style and the demanding play style that he has?
Looking up his injuries now?
More wear and tear and injuries.
Marcus Smart.
Just how hard and physical
it does, but I think that he can also, he's going to be healthy this year. I think he'll play more games.
So we're wrong to suggest he won't, but it's fine with you suggesting he will be.
A guy like him lays his body in the line every single time he's out there.
He's had finger injuries.
Shoulder, knee, ankle, finger, ankle, chest. Damn.
You telling me
in 2025 though, it was just mostly finger injury.
You telling me if he's playing for a real team, he's not playing through a finger injury?
Well, that's gonna help.
Let's be real.
Bring the shooting down.
Let's be real.
If he was in the buyout market, he's playing through injuries. It's probably not a great thing for Los Angeles. I would say though, given their off season's moves, they've gotten better. It's just it feels like with how much depth there is in the Western Conference, it's not enough.
Last year it was a lot of his ankle.
So you think that if they play the Rockets in the playoff series, they're just gonna get smoked?
I don't know where you got that.
I think
from.
The Rockets win.
I'm just asking.
You be asking questions, and I don't know where.
Because the way you made it sound is that the Lakers is gonna get fucking smacked out the playoffs. They got no chance.
It's not a bad matchup because KD's the only dude you're looking at offensive. Like we gotta stop him. It's not like they got multiple guys because the Lakers can't guard shit.
Bro, do you think they're gonna What do you think they're coming out?
I think they got a chance to beat almost any team in the Western playoff series outside of Denver and OKC.
Thunder. You think they could beat Minnesota with this roster?
Yeah,
they just got smoked out by Minnesota.
I know.
I don't think these moves made them any closer to that matchup.
I think you prevent a 2020 Gobert game.
With Abe?
They lost to 5.
Yeah. And one of those wins was Gobert going crazy.
Then they won
and
6.
Also the variance and also the variance of those close games can swing either way. Like
Marcus Smart swings those. He can also lose those.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying is that a big reason why the Lakers got smoked out in the amount of games they lost in was because the Minnesota Timberwolves won those fourth quarters.
Yeah.
But statistically in the regular season, the Lakers were a much better fourth quarter team. The Timberwolves were one of the worst fourth quarter teams in the NBA. But in that specific data set, in that series, the Timberwolves ended up being better in the fourth.
I wonder why.
But yeah, because one of the games, JJ Redick played the entire starters for all 24 minutes in the second half, and it gassed them late. Like if you have more depth, I think it is possible they could win those close games they lost. Yes.
Okay, so Jake LaRavia, DeAndre, and Marcus Smart.
Your closing 5 is less reliable, I would argue.
Well, it's just
that 3-and-D wing is so consistent.
Joel.
I would say it's Luka and LeBron playing better in closing moments.
Who's their closing lineup right now?
Luka, LeBron, Ayton,
Reeves,
Smart, and probably Reeves, if not somebody else.
Who would that else be?
You think Smart's is me playing over Reeves in closing lineup?
That's your seventh. That's your sixth, seventh man right there, man. You don't know.
So
but also,
Reeves is their third best player.
Listen, I think a big reason why they lost.
I
think a big reason why they lost the fourth quarters to Minnesota was also because LeBron and Luka didn't play well enough. I think if they play well enough, if they play better, they could win those fourth quarters.
Yeah.
Also, no one can guard Ant.
We also, nobody can in the world, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so
I was gonna say they did a pretty good job.
They loaded up on him. That's how they guarded him.
Lakers
got to load up on star
But I'm
players.
saying,
Are the
as a
Lakers gonna
team,
load
maybe
up?
you can guard him and neutralize
Lakers
him.
got nothing
Lakers
to
gonna
load
load
on.
up.
They don't really have the personnel, but Marcus Smart gives them a better chance in DFS at the point of attack.
Just
Yes.
ask him.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
unless he's not playing.
So let me ask you a
one's
question.
a 40% sure, the other one's a 30% from 3.
Marcus Smart's I didn't even look.
He was
at
at 35% last year and 31 the year before.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the Clippers could beat the Rockets in a playoff
Small
series?
sample. Clippers can beat
That'd
the
be a
Rockets.
fun
Yeah,
one.
they could.
Yeah.
Like, would
I
you
love that matchup.
Yeah, like if we got the Clippers and the Rockets, Kawhi versus KD, the depth around Kawhi, the depth around KD, what team would you take to win that playoff series?
I mean,
That's tough.
I gotta wait and see how they look in April.
Yeah.
Um,
Right now, I want to lean the Rockets, but that's super close because the Clippers have shown like the Rockets were projecting, even though they did go to 7 with Golden State, we're still projecting a little bit. This team, the Clippers, you know what you got. Like this is a team that's shown that they go toe to toe with Denver last year. They have playoff success under their belt with Kawhi. Just been some time.
It
that's a
really
close
is. What level of Kawhi are you getting? If you're getting the version of him we saw in this postseason, I'm taking the Rockets.
That's fair. Probably be guarded by a man for that series.
Tough
Who would guard
matchup.
Harden then?
Nah,
DFS?
a man would guard Harden
Who would guard Kawhi then? DFS?
or KD to start.
Wonder if Jabari Smith would be the
They'll throw
Kawhi.
Tari at Kawhi. A man would definitely take
That's
Harden.
a tough
though.
I would-
matchup for the Clippers.
Yeah,
A lot of big dudes. You know what I mean?
It's a style clash because Houston's up tempo. They like to run, but they also can get dirty. They can
I'm
get slow
excited.
pace. They can, they can
Their
get
half
to that
court
Clippers
offense should be a
vibe.
lot
A
better.
matchup like
Zubac
that,
versus Şengün. I'm excited about that one. An ugly
Şengün's
back
in
and
hell.
forth. Bro, listen,
Şengün's
I
probably
ain't
in
gonna
hell.
say it, but yeah, that's a nasty throwback big man battle. I'm excited. I was
Zoo's a
excited.
dog.
For it.
Nothing wrong about being getting locked up by Zoo. Zoo's a dog.
I hope he get that.
He's
shit.
Şengün's going to do
one
fine.
of the best defenders in the world.
He is. He had the Clippers a second defensive rating.
Yeah.
Now, on to the NFL news, and that's going to be one of the last portions of the
Here we go.
podcast. So,
One of.
TJ Watt. Yes, because you got to grade the uniform styles.
Oh,
and
my
you got to
bad.
understand that.
Mhm.
So, TJ Watt extension, 3 years,
John, is this
$123
what
million.
you wanted?
I'm
Lot
a
of
little bit
money.
relieved it's 3 years opposed to 4 because he's already got this existing deal. It's kind of a 4-year, whatever you want, 4-year extension given the season. I'll say that last season we saw him have an ankle injury last 3-4 weeks after their loss versus the Eagles, and it was kind of clear even before then he wasn't at the same level necessarily. And I don't know if it's just a down season like we saw from Cam Harron the year before, or maybe if it was signs of regression to come. That being said, I was happy with the move. TJ's one of my favorite players. He still was a awesome player last year, even if it was a down year for his standards. And for Pittsburgh, they're kind of giving this one more go. They feel that they can maybe make a playoff push this year. Not that I necessarily agree with that, but with the moves that they've made, it's clear that they want to win now for this season at least. And TJ's someone that long term kind of is that. I don't want to say it's tough because we have so much depth at edge rusher. We have Nick Herbig, who is awesome, and this TJ extension makes less likely we'll extend him in 2 years. But I'd say for the next 3 seasons, locking up him with Highsmith, and then you have this young defensive line duo of Harmon and Benton next to Cam Hayward. It gives us one of, if not the best, defensive line in football, and I feel that's where games are won. And for that, I'm happy that he's going to hopefully retire a Steeler, and I think good things are to come.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers are all in on this year. We saw our Jets last year go all in, didn't work out. Steelers are going all in with this core. You have to pay DJ Watt. You don't really got much of another choice, but it does feel like a team that's kind of just
You're not paying a
running to the
quarterback
grave.
for now, so
Yeah, he's a franchise legend.
pay
And he's
the
also
legend,
still
man.
playing at high
He
level
is a legend.
too.
He's a
Gotta pay the
legend. He's a Steeler future Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah.
And you guys are still
Future Hall of
competing.
Famer, period.
So I don't see why not pay
Too.
him.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
he's still very good. You know, maybe he might decline as the years come, but yeah, I
For sure,
remember
for
when
sure.
Von Miller after the Super Bowl with the Rams, he got a big hefty deal from the Bills, and it was clear he was declining.
If you could have
as
got
well.
2 first-round picks guaranteed, would you taking it or no?
yes.
Now, the next set of extensions, George Karlaftis and Nick Bolton. Karlaftis got 4 years, $93 million. 76 pressures this past season, 5th in the NFL. He really broke out this past year. And Nick Bolton got 3 years, $45 million.
Solid.
I think Nick Bolton is probably the one that I like raise an eyebrow at, just because Leo Chanel I thought was the best
They
linebacker.
usually let linebackers walk too.
Yeah, they do. But Nick Bolton, he's like their quarterback on defense. He calls all the plays. He's dictating where everything is going. So that made sense. Zach Tom got paid 4 years, $88 million. $22 million per year for a guy this caliber, I think is a steal for Zach Tom. So they secured one of their top offensive linemen up, arguably their top offensive lineman.
Definitely.
Terry McLaurin, Trey Hendrickson still haven't received deals.
It's your boys.
McLaurin says he wants to bring a deal, not tear the team apart. So if that's holding out, holding in, he's not going to play until he gets the deal. That's number one.
He's at an age where he needs to get that one last bag. I think he's 30 now. So, like, get that one last bag before you go right out into the sunset.
And Levi Onwuzurike from the Lions is out for the season. Another injury hit, and the season hasn't even started yet. And he's really important to what they do, especially stuff in the run, having a big body up front. And this is another thing that you can add on to the Lions might regress point.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning because last year we saw guys like him step up in the absence of many of their injured players, especially on the defensive line. But I feel like for the Lions, their offense is really going to be what propels them to wins this year, even still their talent.
What's up with Trey Hendrickson, man? Are they going to give him his money or what? Not send him to Buffalo.
Shamar Stewart, too. I don't know if we even got to that.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart.
He might go back to the draft?
He's not going to go back to the – because
he could go back. He could go back.
I know that his Texas A&M coach said that he's not going to play college football again. No doubt.
I think he can go for the next draft next year.
But he said he's still focused on being with the Bengals. The Bengals just still haven't.
Well, you saw. I don't know how true it is, but part of the language in the contract is he wants to get fully guaranteed money no matter what. Like even if he went to prison or something, like he did some crazy shit, like they would still have to pay him all of his money, which.
I respect that. I'm not going for it.
Also, all these second-round picks getting fully guaranteed or 90% guaranteed deals, good for them. Because I think, there's a long time coming, especially when you look at NBA contracts being fully guaranteed. NFL doesn't have anything close to it. I think it's a, good look for the rookies to be able to at least get this first contract, much guaranteed money as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an article that came out about the NFLPA. I think the dude at the top stepped down because he was basically like cooperating with the owners on a deal that really didn't guarantee players as much as they should have been guaranteed. So it wasn't somebody that was representing the players correctly. And I think, especially with football, with such a violent sport, we often label players to get hurt injury prone, but it's like, when you're playing a sport as demanding as football, you're going to get hurt. And the chances of you getting seriously hurt are higher versus other sports. So I think these players deserve guaranteed money because of the risk they're taking. They're putting their bodies on the line on the field.
And especially the after effects of all of that, physically and mentally, after football. So there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think Harvard did a study, and on their study, they concluded that 33% of former NFL players think they have CTE. So
I feel like the number's higher than that.
Yeah, that's a third of the players. It is like, I think the players that are only currently playing, but that are not playing, they deserve to be taken care of.
Yeah. There's studies that show that guys can be getting it, and it may or not be from concussions as early as college. If you're playing from Pee Wee to college, it's like 10 plus years.
Positions like linebackers and stuff, the ones
offensive
that hit,
linemen, defensive line,
cornerback, maybe some like slot wide receivers that go through the middle, but I feel like quarterbacks for the most part be fake kind of safe from that. Like, as much as they can get. Running backs too be in a tough position.
And then next up, the Seahawks cut Noah Fant, former first-round pick.
Jet.
I think this is a big up to A.J. Barner, who flashed last year. Whenever I watched him, I thought he looked good at tight end. And Elijah Arroyo, the rookie.
Arroyo is more of him looking
Seahawks making the playoffs this year?
I think they're going to be in the hunt.
I remember you said they were better than the Eagles.
Big downgrade at quarterback.
When did I say that?
Said that last year.
Their defense should be fun. Their offense with
first 3
Darnold
weeks was the record.
Cooper Kupp.
Same vibe.
Offensive line, I don't know.
You said Seahawks is better. You said Saints is better. You said the Cowboys is better. You said the Bengals is better. Shit crazy.
Am I ever getting another belt? Season around
at the time I was correct.
Nah, you wasn't.
The record.
You was just
last time of the Bengals, probably.
So we gonna move on. I didn't get a trophy, nothing.
You just jumped ship too early, bro.
You win back to back, you actually don't get none in the second year.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, you can't get that.
What happens about 3-peat?
That's valid. 3-peat. Got it.
You're not 3-peat. Cooking.
You're not 3-peat.
No? This your year?
I wouldn't say that. I say this is everybody but your year. Yeah, it's everybody but your year. That's all I'm gonna say on that matter.
I was goofing off last year at a certain point. I don't know why.
You did start fucking around.
Yeah,
you guys are idiots.
I was having a good time.
I'm gonna stop being biased. That's why you be beating me. I be too biased.
For sure. I'm biased sometimes. Ravens.
You're actually never biased when we do pick'ems.
No, Ravens I pick.
Ravens, you don't need to be biased. They're gonna win.
That's also
favorite 15.
Yeah.
This is the year I'm gonna take it all.
I hope so, bro. You've been slumping the last 2 years, bro.
Nah, I've been close. I've been close. I've been definitely the leader like week 10, and then a couple weeks catch up to me.
You're halfway through the year, bro.
I'm definitely the Dolphins. I'm like a 4-week merchant. Like first 4 weeks, I'll be locked.
I'm like the Steelers.
It's just sometimes it's so random. But now this is the year, Dels.
All right, man.
Everybody but
Hope
you.
so.
Like everybody but you.
I hope so.
I can't wait.
I'll be
till
locked
you lose.
in.
Cinderella run over, man.
Now, the final thing of the show, we're going to grade new NFL uniform changes.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm pumped.
So make sure you guys have something in front of you where you can reference it. We're going to start from the top, which is the Washington Commanders alternate look.
Just look at
White jersey, red pants, Washington helmet.
I feel like it's calm.
Yeah, it's a throwback to their former namesake. I always thought the jerseys were clean.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. This I would say B.
I like.
Okay.
Them.
Are we double dipping or we have enough where we don't even need to double dip?
We could double dip.
Okay.
This is a combi.
I could live with a B.
It's just it's
regular.
It's what it used to be. You know what I mean? It's not revolutionary. But it's what it used to be.
I got a B.
I'm
Next
also
up,
going B.
the
Plus.
the New Orleans Saints white helmet.
This is fire.
I'm a fan.
I'm liking the all. I'm liking the white. The way to
this
go.
is gonna be with the all white uniform too.
It has to be. If it's
like
with,
color rush type
It
vibe?
could just be that, or I mean, that's how the Bengals do it. I know they're all white.
If it's all white, we're here. Like,
Yeah, all white
uniform.
would be clean.
This would be
That's
fire.
A tier. Just the helmet, it's hard. I think the helmet alone is clean A tier.
I'm with an A.
I'm gonna agree. I feel like the helmet, maybe it's used with the non-whites. We'll have to see.
I
But
hope
just
not.
the helmet alone, I'm gonna give it an A. I really like it.
John's a tough critic too, so you know that A. Is
I like the
different.
color a lot.
Yeah, I'm going with an A. I just think the Saints colors, the gold and white, it just looks good with
Clean
anything.
as hell.
Next up, the Buccaneers creamsicles.
She's A.
Baker looks good in this, man. It almost looks
The
AI.
Baker might be uplifting the way it looks because the pick looks clean. Personally,
I'm going with an A plus.
I'm with
you.
you.
Like these. huh?
I'm actually gonna get this
S.
jersey.
We could do an S tier for this
Yeah,
because this shit looks fire.
I'm going with an A plus here.
To go back
Alright.
to that throwback jersey,
favorite.
usually they don't always come out looking good, but this one looks super clean. I
Yeah.
feel like the colors just match.
Just the
very
orange
well.
and red feels weird.
I understand that, but I feel like the helmet and the pants, it just kind of flows and goes well together. I'm gonna give this a strong B plus.
Hey, Baker's
I
a
don't
good-looking
hate it.
guy,
I don't
too,
hate
man.
it.
He really is.
Baker's a good looking guy.
Yeah, he's handsome.
Now, next is the Chargers. Their Superchargers uniform, which is their all gold,
I ain't feeling that.
all yellow uniform.
I give it a D.
I don't like
It's
it.
too, I ain't feeling that. I don't like the helmet with it.
It feels like the Rams too a little bit. You know, the Rams all yellow ones that they had. It's definitely a brighter yellow,
It was like I'm in this jersey.
but this is like a D tier. I'm not C
I'm
tier.
giving this a C. I don't hate it. I feel like the colors kind of pop and they stand out to
Yeah.
you, but maybe it's a little bit.
I don't like
too-
the combination of the helmet
too strong.
with it.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna give it a D.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a D here. I think it could be an F.
feel like
Maybe
the
I'll
helmet-
get used to
The
it.
helmet goes well with the shoulder pad.
I like the
bolt.
helmet.
With the bolt.
The bolt,
shoulder
yes,
pad
yeah.
belt,
If they had the
it kinda
all white,
complements it.
all white with that helmet would have been crazy.
So that's the Chargers power jersey. And then next up, the Superchargers, which is the
B.
all
I
navy.
like these more.
I
These
like
B.
these more.
I
I like
like
these
them.
more than the Bucks.
These is two different blues though.
Really?
If y'all ain't peeping,
Oh,
like
yeah.
really look. Yeah, I ain't
Is
even.
the
I
helmet
would
darker?
go.
The helmet,
The helmet is darker,
Yep.
yeah.
I'll give it a B though. I think it's a good little vibe.
I think this is an A plus.
Okay.
I'd give it A tier.
I don't hate that
I'm
because I
gonna
like the
go
all white sleeves with it too.
Strong B, B plus.
Now the last uniform,
These shits
the
is garbage.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
What
This
is
is my
that?
favorite one, guys.
What is
This
this?
really
John?
giving 1940s like.
I
What
love.
is-
I
what is
love
this
this.
a homage to? This
It's.
like
I
little
love the
vest
Steelers
kinda thing.
trailer pays homage to their 1933 uniforms, throwback to
who
steel.
played in
They've
that team,
got
Joe?
1933.
who playing that team. I can tell you, Ernie Stautner, first Steeler, gets their jersey
There you
retired.
go.
He was not in that 1933 team. I can assure you that. But they were the Pittsburgh Pirates back then. Anyways, I like the logo. They had better alternate uniforms they could have went to, which were a lot more simple. I'm gonna give this like a C. It's ugly, but I like how it pays homage. They're gonna wear it versus the Packers week 8. Give it a C.
So just one time this season.
Just one time.
God.
Yeah, but they were good. They should have, honestly, in my opinion, went with the ones where it's yellow and then the chest plates is black. I felt they looked better and more.
What
solid.
about the bumblebees?
Those? I loved. I really did love those. Once a year, I like those more because they're so ugly. They're iconic.
Yeah.
They are
fact.
ugly. That's going to do it for episode 498 of the Pick a Side podcast. Next week's podcast will be football
How'd this shit
only.
go so long, man?
We're doing the podcast later this week that
Kenny
will be
Pickett.
basketball.
Kenny Pickett.
But next week, Stay tuned for our In the Hunt teams that maybe have a chance to make the playoffs. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast, on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.